up.
Yeah, but he doesn't. I mean, now that's like 5 games, and his shots, his percentages against Philly's not very good, is it?
No, they put a big guy on him.
David, you got to be loving this, though. Come on. You're a Knicks fan.
Oh, yeah. No, I am. I mean, I don't like when things are not called properly at the end of the game, though. Maxey was fouled. Up 2. He should have been going to the line up 2 with, whatever. I don't know, 14 seconds, whatever, 23 seconds. Brunson grabbed his jersey. Now, I will say, when he got to the corner with the ball, I didn't think he got fouled. I thought he lost it.
Agreed.
Okay, so once they missed. Now, the other thing, like Nick Nurse is trying to call timeout, but he didn't try to call timeout immediately. So the official looks over at him, and Nurse is just letting him inbound it. Nurse signals the timeout, and with 1 second before they inbound the ball. Well, the ref's not looking at him, and the ref can't hear him. Garden's going crazy.
Right.
Then he tries to call timeout when Maxey's in the corner. Well, they didn't give it to him because he doesn't have the ball. But normally one of the two things happens there. Either Nurse gets his timeout before they inbound it, or Maxey gets a foul called receiving the inbounds pass. Yeah, how about Mark Stone scoring 90 seconds into the game, and he logged the 3rd most ice time of all the Vegas forwards. Well, long-term IR. Couldn't play last week, though. No way. Couldn't have played.
So, poll question could be, what was the best finish last night?
Problem is, I'll bet most of our audience didn't see any of the 3. I'm serious. First off, Mark, more people see the end of the Islanders Carolina or the Lakers Nuggets at 12:30 in the morning?
All right.
Boston, Toronto.
Here we go.
Right.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Tuesday. Good morning, Huntsville and Jacksonville. We are Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. And this is how we get things going. How the heck are you? Thanks so much for being with us after a beautiful Monday night in the sports world, filled with drama. Everywhere, drama. And a few road teams won, but not as many as should have. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great, David. A little sleep deprived is what is the norm come playoff time, because last night the playoffs delivered and then some. It got going early with Toronto coming back from Boston. They were down early in that game. Toronto gets a big road win to even up that series. Carolina pulls off a miracle on the ice with 2 goals in 9 seconds to win. The Lakers thought they had it within their grasp. They lose, and your Knicks battle back from behind in dramatic fashion. What a night in sports.
And in the afternoon, a manager got ejected 5 pitches into a game.
From what a fan said.
For something he didn't do. And when the umpire was told, no, it wasn't me. It was the guy in the stands. I don't care. See, we've talked about this growing up, and Trent, and by the way, Trent Bally with the Molly Maid play of the day next hour, he may need the whole segment. Normally we give him like 90 seconds during a 10-minute segment. He may need the whole damn segment for what happened yesterday in the world of sports. But see, my mother did that to me one time growing up in terms of grounding me. All right. The old, I got grounded a day per minute, and I got home, and I had to be home at 5 o'clock, and I got home at 4:59, and she's on the phone. and I can't get her attention. I'm trying to show her the watch, and we synchronize the watches and the whole deal. And she basically was in the middle of a conversation, and she said, don't bother me, don't bother me. She gets off the phone at 5:02, looks at her watch and says, you're late. You're grounded. And I said, no. I was here. You were on the phone. And she was like, yeah, I don't care. You're grounded.
You're never going to let her live that one down, are you?
Hell no. The other one is I broke my ankle running home because she was going into the city to see a Broadway play, and I had to go get dropped off at my grandparents. And running home, I stepped in a hole and broke my ankle. And she was, because I got home late, because on the way home, Mark, I don't know if you're aware, but I broke my ankle and still had about 3/4 of a mile to go in hilly terrain through the park. And so I got home a few minutes late. And so she was mad at me. And she made me the next day take a golf lesson. My ankle was the size of a cantaloupe. And she made me take a golf lesson on it. She said, I paid for this. I'm not getting my money back. You're taking the golf lesson. So those are the two things I won't let her live down. Okay.
The shoe throwing, the knock to the head.
I'm fine.
That's all good.
I'm fine with all of that. I'm fine with the whole rest of my childhood. So I got two things that I will not let her live down. Right. Those are the two. And to me, I experienced what Aaron Boone experienced yesterday with Wendelstedt, the home plate umpire, saying, yeah, I don't care. You're the manager. I'm holding somebody responsible. It's you. Mom,
the difference is, I guess in similar fashion, he's going to have to wait until that umpire retires to actually give him grief over it, because every time he tries to give him a grief when he's calling a game, there's the threat that he could throw him out again.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If I'm Major League Baseball, I'm suspending the umpire for the rest of the series. And I am. Listen, think about either you're just very unprofessional that day. You showed up in a bad mood for whatever reason, the whole deal. 5 pitches in, you're ejecting an umpire. And they got the whole audio thing. It was a 10-second argument. Boone wanted them to, and Harig said, I did. I checked. I did my job. Now shut up. All right, I'm not taking this from you today. One more word, you're gone. And Boone was like, okay, I got it. You've laid down the law. And then one pitch later, he throws him out for something he didn't say. If you're that unprofessional, you need some time off. And if you're that biased against Aaron Boone, maybe you just don't like him. Maybe you need to go home and rectify that. I'm not playing around when I say this, and I'm not a Yankees fan. Everybody know I am not a Yankees fan. I don't hate the Yankees, but I'm not a fan. But seriously, Mark, he should not umpire the rest of that series. That's absurd.
And David, he will umpire the rest of the series because Major League Baseball has such little power over a group of people they should have far more power over.
No, they have total power over that group.
But they don't use it.
Right. They choose not to use it. It's amazing. It's amazing. They suspend Trevor Bauer for 1.5 years for something he wasn't even charged of doing. And they won't send an umpire home? Never mind fire an umpire. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to give Major League Baseball a few more hours. But we got David Samson coming on in less than an hour. He'll let us know if anything's going to happen.
And I'm betting on nothing.
I'm betting on nothing also. I am. So, hell of a sports day yesterday. My goodness. For a Monday in late April. Let's do this. All right. Loving it.
Man, got to tell you, I cut the cord a while ago for football season because I needed the YouTube TV to watch the Sunday Ticket.
Right.
And they've got this little multi-view thing.
Okay.
And it's nice for a football game. You put 4 football games up, it's cute.
Okay.
But last night, when I could have hockey, hoop, and everything going on and not miss a damn play, it was
good stuff.
My own sports bar, David. It really and truly was.
How was the service?
Service was great.
Was there specials? Anything going on last night?
Matter of fact, there was. Worked my way into the daughter's Oreo cookies last night.
Yes. Yes.
Is this another tag-along situation?
I don't care anymore. I really don't. I listened to a comedian talk about fat people, and and it hit me right between the eyes. He said, you watch these. I used to live with a fat guy, and he goes, if you watched him eat between the time he got up and 6 p.m., you wondered how he was fat. It's from 6 p.m. to midnight is when all the damage can get done. And I knew that last night and still had no problem taking down about 10 Oreos, and they were delicious.
I have to admit, I'm impressed you stopped at 10. Is that how many were in the sleeve?
Yes.
Okay, so you decided not to go to the second sleeve.
I couldn't.
I hear
sugar
you.
overload.
I hear you. No. When they wrap them up, I get it. They kind of set boundaries for you, and you're like, am I going to stay within the boundaries? Okay. I guess I will.
I was looking at that 3-pointer, I'm just stuffing that my face. If Hurricane scored a goal, they're coming back, stuffed another one down my face.
Yeah, one thing's for sure. It's playoff season, baby. I don't care what it is. It's playoff season. It's draft season. And Mark Miller is getting after the Oreos.
I mean, last night was only the third night, technically, of the NHL and NBA playoffs. It was tremendous. Night 3, we got like 57 more of these suckers.
Right.
Golly.
But I like the first. I am a bigger fan of the first round of the NHL playoffs than any other round of the NHL playoffs.
Right.
I think they are at their peak in the first 2 rounds. But nothing wrong with the Stanley Cup final. But they've beaten the hell out of one another for 2 months. Sometimes there's not enough left in the tank, whereas right now they are full of energy. They are hitting everything that moves. And I lost money. I bet the Islanders money line last night. Watching Carolina come back, I couldn't believe that they were able to. Well, actually, I could believe because of the way they played throughout the game. They should have never been down.
Right,
they were dominating the game, but they just never let up. And Carolina, a team that's notorious for being what? A soft team, David. What did they do last night? They tried to do everything they could to run the Islanders out of their own zone every chance they got. When you get Sebastian Aho making forechecks, there's a different game going on.
They're out shooting the Islanders 32-12, and they're down 3-1 with 9 minutes to go. Not going to happen. As John Forsland, our buddy who was on the show yesterday, is fond of saying, that's hockey, baby. And then the Canes said, enough of that.
And Austin Matthews, who's had a tremendous season, and the Leafs desperately need their star to get them a goal. And what does he do? He makes an unbelievable play to lead himself in on a little breakaway and score the game winner.
Best player on the ice last night. And he is the best player on the ice, but he played like it last night. And the Leafs showed up. You're not a Leafs guy, but you know what? Toronto showed up last night.
Yes, they did.
They competed last night. They matched the Bruins hit for hit. They looked at them and said, we're dying here tonight. You're going to have to kill us here tonight. Very interesting strategy, by the way. Bruins coach sticking with that goalie rotation. We talked about it yesterday. This has not been done in hockey in 50 years in the playoffs, where a really good team who can legitimately win the cup alternates goalies. And the Bruins have alternated goalies games 1 and 2. Usually when a goalie wins a game in the playoffs, it takes a subpoena for him to not be in between the pipes the next game. So we got drama. Like it. A couple road wins last night. Should have had 2 or 3 more between hockey and hoop. Still haven't had a road win in hoop.
Should have.
Should have had 2 last night.
Probably had 2. But the Nuggets showed why they're champions. Rallying from 20 down in the second half.
And the Sixers blew it. Had a little help. Probably could have gotten a whistle in the final 20 seconds, but all right. Not the first time an NBA team's complaining about the officials after a game.
No, and it won't be the last this week.
So good stuff last night. Trent Bally in about an hour is going to need a whole segment to do play of the day. It's just going to go from one game to the next.
I just got a hold of the Nuggets radio call. So Good. You guys are going to love it.
Look at that. Little tease.
No color commentator messing it up. It's
They-
it's just pure electricity.
On a buzzer beater in Denver, if you missed it last night. And we're guessing most of you did, because it was not even 6 hours ago. Matter of fact, it was only a little over 5. Miller and Moulton. David Samson's on the show today. Bob Harig's on the show today. Pat Kirwan's on the show today. Wow, this is a good show.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So I got a little carried away with the videos yesterday on X. But in doing so, I got a follow from Seth Everett.
Ah.
Is David not here? Because, of course, David doesn't follow me on X. So
No.
So-
No, why would he do that? You're only the producer of the show. Don't, whatever you do, don't mess with his timeline.
Oh, I won't. I'm not touching anything.
And the good thing last night is that there's no more than 4 games going on at the same time, right?
Correct.
Between hockey and hoops, so you had everything on.
Yeah, ambient. That's a great point. I saw that the other day that like Jamal Murray's never been an all-star, but everyone just kind of regards him as, and he's a
gotta admit, though,
guy.
I got to admit, though, there's only 12 spots.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, and, you know, he's close. Okay, you could see where he'd be like one of the finalists for the last, 5 guys for 2 spots type guy.
Right. Like if a couple guys are hurt, then he makes it like a Pro Bowl alternate type guy. Because if you look at the last few
I mean,
years,
Sabonis and Fox didn't make the All-Star team this year of the Western Conference either for Sacramento. There's probably in the NBA, there's probably 20 legitimate All-Stars in both conferences for 12 spots. I'd say. I really do.
that's fair.
The funny thing is both Murray and Brunson were having horrible games last night. Brunson did have a horrible game. Murray had a great fourth quarter, but the first 3 quarters he sucked. After the game, he said, "I'm telling my guys I'm going to pass them the ball, and they're the ones encouraging me to keep shooting." Ambient, I'm with you. I hope all those players at least go once. Poll question. What are we thinking?
Is it the national day of anything?
Well, did you guys not see my text? We really are married. Nobody reads my text. I'm used to that.
Well, my question was yesterday take a chance day or is today?
No, today.
Okay, well, you said it yesterday.
No. Poll question ideas today.
I
As of
understand
Tuesday,
that.
April
When did you send
23rd.
the poll question?
I sent it at 10:51 last night, but I'm sending it about today.
Here's my problem, David, is when I get that text with the lineup, I don't need to look at it.
No. You're now part of the marriage because you just look at it and go, "Oh, okay, right." No. It just
all it is just
listen. I've gotten to the point with the wife, which I just say, "I'm not answering that question. Read your text." Seriously, no, nope.
Okay, here we go.
Nope. Done with you.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Great show lined up for you. Starting 5 in about 15 minutes. Then David Samson. What an amazing golf weekend it was. We'll talk a little golf with Bob Harig and pump his book, Great Father's Day Gift. Hint, hint. Help our buddy Bob Harig out, fine golf writer for Sports Illustrated. And then Pat Kirwan as we preview the draft. Oh, exciting things yesterday going on with Vegas in the draft. We'll explain coming up in the starting 5. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark, I would like to solicit some help. Okay, I don't want to sound like the late Regis Philbin and, the whole Millionaire Show, but I'd like to extend a lifeline or maybe a phone call to the audience. Okay, I'd like a little help with the poll question. I have an idea. If you guys don't like it, you outvote me 2-1. We go in a different direction. But during a hockey intermission last night, I looked up, so what's going on today? National Day of, apparently today's National Strawberry Cheesecake Day. Not just cheesecake, specifically strawberry cheesecake. Huh, okay. But apparently, Mark, today is National Take a Chance Day.
Okay.
And so what I would like to solicit is ideas for taking a chance. Like, skydiving, bungee jumping. I don't know, online dating, a blind date, something that you consider taking a chance. For some of you, voting for a Democrat. That's funny. Good material right there at
That's solid.
6:23 a.m., 5:23 in Huntsville.
Betting on a road team in the playoffs.
Right. That taking a chance. Anyway, what do you consider, just for the 3-4 choices we're going to put in there, if today's National Take a Chance Day, what is the chance you would take?
How can we tie this to the NFL draft? Because there's definitely a way we can.
Okay, if you want to go there, fine.
I feel like there's a lot of chances you can take, specifically in the first round of the NFL draft. Would you draft J.J. McCarthy top 3?
Today is National Take a Chance Day. Okay. Hey, we could go back just 3 years because there's 4 quarterbacks who were drafted in the top 15 3 years ago who have all changed teams. We could, as part of National Take a Chance Day, which one of these retreads would you take a chance on? Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. We could.
Boy, there's not an E? None of the above?
Well, no, because Trevor Lawrence is the one that,
I know.
Right. He's staying
I
put.
know.
Right. So, no, it's take
But
a chance.
you have me freaked out because as much as I'm scared to death of heights.
Yes.
But the idea of skydiving intrigues me.
Now, I'm curious. Would you do it solo or would you
No,
do
I'd
it?
have to do it with somebody.
Okay. All right. But if you're, riding a professional's back there, you'd do it.
Probably not.
Come on.
No, I really think I'd get up in the plane and freak out. I don't think I could jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
Well, what would happen is you attach yourself to somebody else and they do all the work. You just go for the ride.
I got you.
So,
and then after that, if you could accomplish that, to me, there's no other chance that you wouldn't take.
So if I can get you to jump out of an airplane, I can get you to bungee jump, I can get you to do anything.
Pretty much.
Right. I can get you to vote for a Democrat, maybe.
Wow.
I understand. You know what? That's a great poll question. Which are you, especially with where our show airs, what's a bigger chance? Bungee jumping or voting for, which
well,
is the
now that we're in
opposite party?
Jacksonville, we're a little more.
True. Jacksonville's purple. Jacksonville is purple. Right. Everywhere else that we're at, it's various
Samson.
degrees of ketchup. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that's all. What National Take a Chance Day? Just curious. Now, Trent, I took your football idea. I worked in the 4 quarterbacks who are all looking for a second chance. Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Which of those 4 would you take a chance on?
Justin Fields.
Okay. That's your vote. I would go Mac Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's my last option on that list.
Oh, come on. You take Zach Wilson over Mac Jones?
Because Zach Wilson at least went to the Jets. Mac Jones went to a well-run organization.
Not at the time that he went there.
And not on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, worse.
Well,
he had Matt Patricia calling plays for him one year. Are you kidding?
He sure did. No, but David, I think that's a great question. I think that's our winner. Well done. That's our poll question.
If you want to stop there, I was trying to work skydiving and bungee jumping into it, but see, I would do both, by the way. I would. I'm a little more leery of the bungee jumping.
Fear of the bungee cord breaking?
Well, it's possible. I'm fat.
Well, that's why I'm trying to figure out why the bungee would bother you more than the skydiving.
I will say, though, if something goes wrong with the bungee jumping, it'll happen so fast you won't even realize it. There's not even time to go, uh-oh.
Whereas there's a lot of time to go, uh-oh, if the parachute doesn't open.
Right. There's time to, take out your cell phone.
Golly, gee.
I was going to say, Mark is not the guy to ask about height-related.
I'm scared to jump out of my chair right now.
Mark pays Felipe a handsome sum to hang his Christmas wreath.
Yes.
To get up on the ladder.
As a matter of fact, I do. And Felipe's moving, so I'm screwed for next year.
No, but he comes back about 10 days before Christmas for that basketball tournament. So you'll just have to wait till then for him to put the,
Right, like
tar up.
my wife's going to wait a day after Thanksgiving to get that sucker up.
Well, you can do the whole tree except for that. You can look right at her and say, well, honey, unless you're going to climb up there. Otherwise, Felipe will be here in 3 weeks. Tell her it's National Take a Chance Day. Take a chance, honey. You took one on me.
He did. I was going to say.
Look how well that's turned out, huh?
She's working 2 jobs, and I'm stuck doing this, making no money.
Ah, come on. You're working 2 jobs also. They're just not profitable. That's all.
This segment brought to you by Realtor Mark Miller. Begging you to list your home today.
This segment brought to you by Paulie's Loan Shark. So
Take a chance on us.
right. Take a chance at 19%. Call Paulie today. So that's all. Today's in honor of National Take a Chance Day. Which one of these quarterbacks would you give the second chance to?
I like it.
So there you go.
We
Zach,
work football in.
yep. So Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Which one are you taking the chance on? 3 years ago, these guys were drafted. 3 years ago. 3 years ago, these guys were drafted in the top 15 of a draft. And none of them were with the teams that drafted them. That's unbelievable.
And then there was one.
Yeah. No wonder Trevor Lawrence isn't worried about things. He's like, "Nah, I'm good. They'll get around to paying me."
Well, you could follow it up with how many of these 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks that are going to take it in the first round will remain with their teams 3 years later.
I don't know if we'll ever have a draft class like that one, in all honesty. Teams bailing on first-round draft pick quarterbacks in 3 years or less. Unbelievable. The starting 5. Take a chance on it. It's next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GI certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Do not let me forget. After the show, we got to record a 30-second generic promo.
Should we record one, or should you edit one taking?
Oh yeah, we could do that too.
I mean, like if you just find, something, a good clip from one of us or both of us, and work it in. Because then you could, and I'm not pawning it off on you, but I just think that would be better than the two of us talking about, hey, what a terrific show we have.
Yeah, I got you. That's actually a better idea. You're right.
Would today be National Take a Chance Day? Which QB would you take a chance on, or a second chance on, or how do you want to word it?
Yes. Which 2021 QB would you take a second chance on?
If you had to rank them in order, like first choice, second choice, third choice,
Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Zach Wilson is the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life. I would draft Bo Nix all day, every day. If Sean Payton can rehabilitate Zach Wilson, he should go to the Hall of Fame just on that alone.
By the way, thoughts on the Broncos uniforms? Did you guys see them?
Hideous. Oh, my God.
I think they're terrible.
Outside of the throwback, once again, it's so funny. Everybody loves the 1970s uniforms on all their teams.
Yep. The Dolphins got to go back to those.
Stephen Jones is not Stephen Jones. Stephen Ross is the only person who doesn't want to go back to him. It'll be the very first thing that happens after he dies. It really will. Dolphins will go back to the uniforms everybody wants. Boise State took a look at the new Broncos uniforms and said, hey, man, these suck. We wouldn't wear them. Adrian, don't laugh. If I was like Arizona and a couple of other teams, I would be willing to trade down in this draft, but you give me 2026 draft picks so I can go get Arch.
Are you guys in on Arch?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no idea.
He hasn't played a game. He played good in a spring game where you can't hit him.
I got you. I just,
how am I supposed to make a decision on that? Are you in? Are you in on Arch?
I'm in on Arch because of the jeans, and I don't mean the Levi's. I mean,
no, he was probably his dad was probably more of a Jordache guy.
Ooh la la Sassoon. That was probably his granddad.
No, I agree with you guys. I just feel like there's so many hot takes one way or another on Arch Manning. It's like, how do we know?
Well, we don't. That's sports. We don't know. We don't know a thing. That's why we love it. Don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, I don't know where KW is, DC. Ambient, the Broncos right now on paper may have the worst quarterback room in the history of the league. So if they're not drafting a quarterback, then they're signing Ryan Tannehill. And you may hate Ryan Tannehill, but he's a lot better than any of the three guys you have in that room right now.
Plus, look at that division. It's like, how can you take yourself seriously? Mahomes, Herbert, Harbaugh, Zach Wilson.
Oh, forget Harbaugh. Andy Reid's in the division.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes for the top of the hour. David Samson joins us for his weekly visit at that time. An hour from now, we'll talk about the amazing things going on in the golf world. Forget the whole PGA LIV thing. Let's just put that aside for a few minutes. Bob Harig to join us. PGA, LPGA, 15-year-old about to conquer the world. Man, exciting stuff. And then Pat Kirwan, a little more than an hour. You know, there's this thing called the NFL draft. They're going to do it again Thursday night in Detroit. We figured we'd talk about it.
Text line is open at 21,000. If you've never texted the show before, you need to text in a keyword. It's FSN Radio. You text that to 21,000. All one word, FSN Radio to 21,000. Once you do so, the doors are open and you can text as much as you would like.
And you bother Mark. Okay, Mark handles the text line. I handle the Twitch chat room. Those are my peeps. Mark.
We know, David.
When I say that.
I do.
Hates it. Okay, he'd rather go skydiving.
No, I've got to be honest. You can say that all you want if it's between that and skydiving.
Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
You know, we'll start with the NFL draft for this reason. Mark, does anybody know more about sports than Vegas? Anybody?
No.
I mean, maybe the late Howie Schwab, who passed away over the weekend. You remember Stump the Schwab on ESPN? Maybe Howie knew more than Vegas, but otherwise, no. Well, Mark, maybe you'll find this interesting as we're T-minus 60 hours and counting. So and since I do the Starting Five, you know, my observation makes the survey. Yesterday, I thought the biggest thing that happened in the NFL was this. At lunchtime yesterday, J.J. McCarthy was 20-1 to be taken second overall by the Commanders. By dinner time yesterday, do you know what the odds were for J.J. McCarthy to be taken second overall by the Commanders?
What were they, David?
9-1. Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty significant
It really is.
flip in the odds.
It is in an afternoon. It's as if somebody in Vegas got some information. And people in Vegas are always seeking information. There's only millions riding on it. So there you go. Take that for what it's worth. Vegas has an inkling. They got a feeling. The Jets traded Zach Wilson to the St. Louis Battlehawks of the UFL. No. Just kidding. The Denver Broncos actually did a pick swap for Zach Wilson. Now, I think Denver believes that the Jets are giving them the better pick than what they're giving, but actually they're picking up like $2.5 million of his salary, and they did a 6th and 7th round pick swap. Mark, I'm going to ask you a very serious question. Name me a worse NFL quarterback that you've seen in the last 20 years than Zach Wilson.
Nathan Peterman?
Good one. I like that. That's good.
That's what I nominate, David.
Okay, Peterman, I think 4th, 5th round pick. Do you know where Zach Wilson was drafted?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah. It was 2nd overall.
Right.
3 years ago.
Number 2.
Number 2, and not Derek Jeter. Right. So Zach Wilson now with the Broncos. Take a look at that quarterback room, by the way. There's UFL quarterback rooms going. We're better than those guys. The Chiefs. Remember all this talk leading in the Super Bowl? Andy Reid. I think he's going to retire. I think Andy Reid's 66. He's going to walk away. Yeah, him, the GM, and the president, they all signed extensions yesterday. You think they all looked at one another and said, you know, listen, we could go home, be with our wives and family and grandkids and what have you, or we could hang around Mahomes and see what he does for the next few years. What would you rather do? I'd rather hang around Mahomes. Okay, we'll hang around Mahomes. And Matt Ryan officially retired as an Atlanta Falcon yesterday. He took last year off, did the CBS broadcasting thing. And Matt Ryan retired a Falcon. All those years in Atlanta, one in Indianapolis. And, that could have been a poll question if we were going to, do a sports question today. Matt Ryan, Hall of Famer, yay or nay?
I don't think so.
If they had held on and beaten the Patriots.
Probably.
Boy, that's tough. That's tough. You walk right up to the doors of Canton and they go, hey, hold on, I got to show you this video. And it's the fourth quarter and overtime. NBA teams are 11-0 at home in the playoffs so far. Denver was down 15 at the half. They were down 20 in the third quarter. They came all the way back. LeBron missed a three with 13 seconds to go. Denver got the ball to Jamal Murray. He was guarded by Anthony Davis. He made a move, drove to the baseline, hit a 15-footer over him. Ball game at the buzzer. Nuggets beat the Lakers for the 10th straight time, 101-99. They're up 2-0. Orlando, this just in. They're not a good outside shooting team. This just in. Cleveland's making them shoot a bunch of threes. This just in. Orlando's losing. Cavs beat them 96-86 to go up 2-0. Orlando 9 for 35, 26% shooting the three ball. We'll say this, though, Mark. Magic bring in a shooter or two. That's a dangerous team going forward.
This is you hope Orlando can get one or two at home and make this a series. But this is exactly what we thought was going to happen for the exact reasons why. And we all know what Orlando needs to get. So this is a valuable lesson being taught to the Orlando front office as to how to fix their problems quickly with a good young team and a lot of salary cap room. Go find a shooter.
Or two.
Right.
Probably one to start and one to come off the bench. And that's why a lot of people think Klay Thompson is going to end up on Orlando, whether he starts or he comes off the bench. Would he be valuable for the Magic at $20-25 million a year? The Knicks were down 5 with under 30 seconds to go and beat the Sixers. That doesn't happen in the NBA. But the Knicks hit a 3, got a steal, hit another 3, got a stop, hit 2 free throws, and Embiid misses a 3 at the buzzer to tie it. And the Knicks escape a game they had no business winning. 104-101 over the Sixers to take a 2-0 lead. Brunson has had his 2 worst games as a pro, statistically. He had never played a game in the NBA in which he took 25 or more shots and made less than 10 of them. He's now done it in back-to-back games, 8 for 26 and 8 for 29. And yet the Knicks have won both games. The Sixers should be sick to their stomachs. Controversy at the end of the game. Sixers claim that they were fouled on the inbound up 2. They were. Also, Nick Nurse was trying to call a timeout. Problem was he hesitated, and by the time he tried, the officials weren't looking at him. Sixers got the raw end of the deal, though, late. And the Knicks won. 3 playoff games tonight. Phoenix and Minnesota, Indiana, Milwaukee, Dallas, and the Clippers. Home teams are up 1-0 in all of them. NHL, Toronto goes into Boston and mans up and gets a win. Austin Matthews with a goal and 2 assists. Leafs 3-2. Even the series at a game apiece. Islanders going to Carolina, man up. Take a 3-0 lead in the second. Take a 3-1 lead mid-third. And then collapse. First time in franchise history, they had a 3-goal lead in a playoff game and lost. Carolina, 4 goals in the third, 2 in 9 seconds. And they beat the Islanders 5-3. Mark Stone missed the last 2 months on the injured list. And amazingly came back and played last night, the 3rd most minutes of anybody on Vegas, and scored a goal. Vegas 4-3 over Dallas. And Connor McDavid with 5 assists, Zach Hyman with a hat trick. Did you see McDavid's assist on the first goal of the game?
Yeah.
The spinorama at full speed and then the pass to set up. Unbelievable. 7-4 Edmonton over the Kings. Lindy Ruff has already been the coach of the Sabres once, and he coached them for 15 years. They're bringing him back. Of course, they haven't made the playoffs since they fired him. Maybe that's the reason they're bringing him back. Baseball, Aaron Boone got ejected 5 pitches into the game for something that a fan in the third row said. That's not a joke. It's caught on video and everything.
The umpires defended himself, said he's completely in the right. He heard something from the dugout, and it doesn't matter whom.
Right.
I've been doing this a long time, and damn it, I'm right, you're wrong.
He said to Aaron Boone, don't say another word or you're gone. Boone didn't say another word, and he was ejected. Yankees gave up a 2-run homer in the 9th, lost to Oakland 2-0. Braves. Travis d'Arnaud's had a good week. Hope you picked him up on your fantasy team. He's got 5 homers in 4 games. 3-0 Braves over the Marlins, who fall to 6-18. At this rate, the Marlins are going to win between 40 and 42 games. I don't know. That doesn't seem good. The Rays not only lost to the Tigers 7-1, but their closer, Pete Fairbanks, goes on the injured list. He's got tingling in his pitching arm and hand. That would seem not to be good. You know, my medical degree and all, it seems a problem. Orioles have won 7 of 8. Angels have lost 6 of 7. Trout struck out with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 9th. Baltimore 4-2 over the Angels. Giants 5-2 over the Mets. Pittsburgh snapped the 6-game losing skid 4-2 over the Brewers. Phillies have won 7 in a row. They beat the Reds 7-0. And the Twins by the same score over the White Sox. Mark, the White Sox are 3-19. In 22 games this year, they've been shut out 8 times.
That's hard to do. I mean,
this is like the worst team we've seen
in a century.
Yes, the 62 Mets are going, man, we weren't that bad. The Tigers of what year did they lose 119? Like 2013 or something like that? Those Tigers are going, we weren't that bad. Golf, Scotty Scheffler to finish up his final 3 holes. He played them 1 over, and he won the RBC Heritage by 3. Nelly Corda, who's won 5 in a row. Scheffler's won 4 of 5, by the way. In the other event, he missed a playoff by a stroke. Nelly's won 5 in a row. She withdrew from this coming weekend's Los Angeles event. She wants to take some time and rest up. And worth paying attention to, a judge in Tallahassee has ordered Florida State and ACC to mediation, and he's given them 120 days. Here's the kicker. The mediation's non-binding unless the 2 sides want it to be. Mark, these 2 sides can't agree on the day of the week. You think they're going to agree to a mediation?
Love to be the mediator for this one. This should go over really well, David.
You suck and I want out. You suck, but you're contractually obligated to stay. So there, mediate that. If they don't work it out, guess what? They go back to court before the same judge. Now, they're suing each other in 2 different jurisdictions. They're suing each other in Leon County, Tallahassee. They're also suing each other in, is it Mecklenburg County? Charlotte? Yeah. So right now, the ACC getting the edge in court. For now. We'll see how this goes. If you're the ACC, would you take $300 million to let them go? I'm serious. The word is that if you go by the letter of the law, it would cost Florida State $500 million. Okay, if you're the ACC, do you end this by saying $300 million, you can leave?
I don't know how you can, because then that means Clemson could raise their hand and leave, and North Carolina could raise their hand and leave.
We don't necessarily have to let them go, but we're letting these guys go. We hate them. They're bad-mouthing us. They're bad-mouthing the conference. You want to go, get the hell out.
But you've then set precedent for other schools to leave, and I don't know if I would be willing to do that because the conference could fall apart, David.
Well, you've set precedents that if you're willing to let them leave, but if you're the conference, you just say, no, we're not willing to let anybody else leave. We hate these guys. We'll let them leave. And Clemson, if you want to join them, go.
I wouldn't let them leave.
Okay. So you're fighting this to the death.
I'm fighting this to the death. It is I think it's the life of my conference if I lose.
Mark is saying if you let them leave, you're blowing Pandora's box open with a 12-gauge shotgun. I mean, you're not even just opening it. You're blowing that sucker up, David.
Here's the funny thing, though. Where would they go? Now, we think they'd go to the Big Ten. But right now, Fox and the Big Ten are just sitting this one out. They're laughing. 7 minutes before the hour. That was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
So there you go. David Samson coming up after the top of the hour break. We'll talk golf with Bob Harig. We'll preview the NFL draft with Pat Kirwan. It's a good show. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Did you find the radio call of the Hurricanes? I can't find it anywhere. The TV one's good enough, but I can't.
There's a Cane specific one. If you go to hurricanes.com on Twitter, I found it.
Okay.
Whatever their Twitter site is. That looks like some sort. Where are you?
I'm in Paris.
Oh, nice.
Look at that wallpaper.
It's something, isn't it?
That is fantastic.
I love it.
Nothing screams 1970s like that wallpaper right there.
Or the furniture.
It's a small little boutique hotel on the left bank.
Very nice. What are you doing in Paris, David?
I ran the London Marathon on Sunday and then came over here for a couple days because why not?
You don't need anything else for me. I'm exactly.
I'm doing the show. I wasn't gonna miss your show. I'm doing my show live in an hour. So,
and then maybe some afternoon wine and early dinner. I don't know. Go enjoy.
Thank you.
Is it noon or 1?
It is 1 p.m.
Okay, so you're 6 hours this time of year. All right.
Mm-hmm. I just had a little baguette snack. I had a massage this morning because I can't walk. My legs, I literally can't walk.
How'd the marathon go?
A struggle, thank you. But I finished, which is all that matters.
How many is that now?
So it's funny you say that. I was going to count last night, but then had too many bottles of wine. My guess is somewhere in the 30 range. A little more than 30. I don't know.
Wow.
But this was a hard one because I didn't train properly. I didn't earn the starting line, but I did it anyway. And it's a mental fuck. I'll tell you that.
So, like in golf or, high amateur tournaments and what have you, your handicap has to be a certain to even be able to qualify. Is it your time that gets you in these?
No, it's just lottery or you do it through a charity.
Gotcha.
Anyone can run. I didn't finish in last place, but pretty close, but finished.
Paul in our Twitch chat room.
Can you guys hear me well?
Yes,
Yeah.
you sound great.
Paul in our Twitch chat room is wondering, did you run for Parkinson's?
Not this one, but thank you, Paul. I do a lot of the last 2 marathons I did for Parkinson's. This one I did for myself.
Okay.
Because I'd never done London before, so I did actually not raise money for this marathon.
So just to give you guys an idea of how insane my family is about the Lions, my brother texted me randomly this morning and says, people forget if Brad Allen doesn't F the Lions in Dallas, they're probably Super Bowl champs.
Probably.
Just out of nowhere. He just texted me that.
Doesn't ever end.
At 6 a.m, his time.
Yeah, actually, they might have been the 2 seed and they might have lost to the Packers in the first round. So seriously, take your 2 playoff wins and shut up. Golly.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
He has taken this world tour seriously. It's bad enough he's traveling the States for his Nothing Personal show live in prime time. But now he just flew to Europe to, well, what the heck? We'll run a marathon. We'll do a few shows. We'll come back by the end of the week. He's David Samson. He records Nothing Personal live at 8 a.m. weekdays. You know how to download it. You can see him on the CBS Sports Family. He's on the Dan Lebitard Show. Follow him on X at David the letter P Sampson. David P. Sampson. So you're in Paris?
I am. I'm in Paris right now, but there was no way I was going to miss a show with you guys because it's my favorite part of the week. It's just a little later in the day right now. So, it breaks up a little bit of wine, but it's okay.
Well, don't stop drinking on our account, whatever you do.
I did, actually, because otherwise I'd be at a 4-hour lunch right now, but I'll do this show. I'll do Nothing Personal, and then I'll go right back to the restaurant.
Good for you. And, Aaron Boone might be able to join you because he could already be thrown out. Have to start with that, David. For him to get thrown out's abominable in and of itself. For the umpire after the fact to say he's fine with throwing him out, that's even worse to me. Baseball won't do anything about this, but should they?
So thank you for asking that. There's a lot going on out there with Hunter Wendelstedt, and the fans are saying, how can a manager be responsible for what a fan says? Now, I wish Hunter hadn't said it just that way, because what Hunter said is accurate. The umpire has discretion to throw someone out of the game, sole discretion. And if he hears something from the dugout, it probably happened 20 times in my career, and I'm not exaggerating, where the wrong person got thrown out of the game. And I've stood at home plate and tried to listen into the dugout, easier at Marlins games, as an example. You can really pinpoint where the sound is coming from. But in a crowded stadium, it can be more difficult, and you can have a range of where you think it's from, but you look, and then when you toss someone, generally every umpire doubles down and just assumes that it was that person. And if not, they just say, hey, then you're wearing it for someone else. The problem that happened here is that it's media. We have tape, and it looked like it was a fan, but then Hunter said, no, it was something from the other end of the dugout. Who really knows what happened? But I don't see discipline coming for Hunter Wendelstedt.
The fact that he said, I don't care, is not going to get him in trouble, because David, I got to be honest, 5 pitches into a game, to me, that's waking up on the wrong side of the bed and then some. No, seriously. There's a part of me, and I'll say it again, I am not a Yankees fan, but there's a part of me that thinks, I don't think Wendelstedt likes Boone very much to get that upset that quickly and then to eject him wrongly. And then when it's pointed out to him, hey, you screwed up here, I didn't say anything. Okay, he goes, I don't care. I'm sorry. If I'm the Yankees, I don't want him umpiring any of our games the rest of the year, and I'm not playing around. Cashman should have gone public yesterday. I would be screaming to the hilltops if I'm the Yankees. Major League Baseball needs to do something about this. This is absurd. And quite frankly, David, this is how games get fixed.
Well, actually, let's address the last thing you said, because I was right there. I was watching your passion and your energy, but then I feel like you jumped the shark, Fonzie.
Maybe I did. Maybe I'm Hunter Wendelstedt, and I just because of the guy in the third row, I ejected Boone. But if umpires can do whatever they want with no repercussions, then they can do whatever they want with no repercussions. So start to think about the worst things they can do.
All right, let me respond to that now. Yes, that is true that umpires are part of a union. Yes, it is true. However, there are repercussions. They get graded. They can't get fired. Otherwise, Angel would have been fired already. But they certainly do get graded. It does impact their postseason assignments. And this will be, Mike Hill will find out exactly what happened. He'll speak to Booney. He'll speak to Hunter. Now, Aaron gets thrown out. He's got the most ejections of any active manager. So this is not an example of a docile man who all of a sudden the umpire went crazy on him. And there could be stuff that happened pregame. There could be stuff from earlier in the season. There's always little dramas that happen between teams and umpires. We had a ton of drama with a guy named, he rhymes with Penny Lane, and his name is maybe Bruce Lane, the umpire. And our in-game entertainment played Penny Lane during a game, and we got called out by him during the game. I was sitting next to the dugout, and I said, our in-game entertainment people are not that smart, but it caused me to think I need to alert MLB, because there could be the possibility where he will rule against us or hurt our chances to win. And Joe Torre at the time said, David, you're being ridiculous. And I said, we'll see.
There was a Jerry Lane.
Jerry Lane. Thank you.
All right.
Jerry Lane.
I like you going Beatles for a little warm up there. I mean, there's never a bad time to play the Beatles, David.
Is it possible that it was set up to make fun of Jerry Lane because of the call that he had made? Maybe. Is it possible he was right to be as angry as I've ever seen an umpire? Maybe, but maybe not.
Bigger problem with the ejection of Boone or what Angel Hernandez gets away with every game?
Oh, I think it's for sure Angel Hernandez. He's just bad. Hunter Wendelstedt is not a bad umpire. Angel Hernandez is a bad umpire. And what stinks about unions, and I'm not trying to be totally pro-management here, but I get unions, I get tenure, I understand that it's for the protection of the worker. However, when you protect incompetence, it gives a bad name to everything the union is supposed to stand for.
David.
I can't stand protecting incompetence, and that's what the umpires union is doing with Angel now.
David, police can be fired. Teachers can be fired. It's not easy. It's not. But we all know examples when they do something that is they're just too bad. Sorry, even we can't protect you We'd love to. We can't. You rightfully are losing your job. How in the world is an umpire the only person in all of baseball that can't be fired?
Well, players with guaranteed contracts can't be
No,
fired either.
they can be
They just
fired.
they
Players
cannot
can be
play, but
fired.
they still get
Executives can
paid.
be fired. The commissioner can be fired.
Well, he's just an employee of the owners. Here's the thing. They've tried. They're building a file of incompetence. The problem is he sued baseball, which to me, it's like the story with the coach in football, Brian
Flores.
How in the heck does he have another job? I would never hire someone who filed suit against me or my company. Ever. Angel Hernandez filed suit, lost completely. And the ruling was, hey, it's not that you didn't get a postseason assignment because you're not white. You didn't get a postseason assignment because you stink. You did not get a crew chief assignment because you're white. You didn't get one because you stink. However, still not enough to terminate him. But baseball would love it. Believe me, it's embarrassing.
David Samson, nothing personal with David Samson. It's his daily podcast. He records it at 8 a.m. Eastern. That's 2 o'clock in Paris this time of the year. Won't be half in the bag because he's sobered up to do Miller and Moulton. Then he'll do his thing. Then he'll go be half in the bag again. By the way, when you get back to the States, where's the world tour going?
New York is my next show, Monday night, April 29th. And that's the last schedule, but it looks like I'm going to have a second leg of the tour. We're looking at Chicago and St. Louis, Miami, maybe Montreal. And you know what? I'd love to get to the west coast of Florida. I'd love to do one in the area there. So my tour promoter's putting together another leg because this one's been great. And we're super excited about the New York show on Monday night.
And then he just skips off to Paris for a couple of days too. I mean, this is very rock and roll of you in the middle of a tour to stop it to go run a marathon and can get Paris for a couple of days.
I feel like Dennis Rodman going to Vegas during the finals. I'm a little tired, but it seems worth it. And I had the London Marathon planned, and the mistake that I made is when the tour promoter asked me my available dates, I gave him my available dates, and I was leaving to run the marathon on Friday the 19th. So he said, great, you're doing a show Thursday the 18th in Pittsburgh. So I didn't properly, I said, I'm coming back the night of the 28th. He said, great, you're going to do a show Monday the 29th. So I didn't give myself enough of a cushion, and I think it's cost me. My marathon performance was subpar, but I did finish. My body feels like absolute ass right now. I can't say that on the air. It feels terribly.
No,
I can't. Yeah. It feels terribly. I don't know which way is up, but there is one thing I always know when it's Tuesday at 7 a.m. Eastern.
There you go. Staples in life. By the way, David, one big difference. Rodman ran off with Carmen Electra for 3 days in Vegas, okay? Unless there's someone in that room. Exactly. That we can't see who you're in the room with.
There is someone in this room, actually.
And keep it to your damn self is what we're saying. Okay. Is it too early to fire people? The White Sox are 3-19. Let's see. You got the Marlins at 6-18, Colorado at 5-18. Honestly, is it too early to fire people?
Well, I always loved firing managers early because then you can say you have a shot to turn the season around. So we're still too early, never with an A. But once the M comes, that's when you can start doing it. But I don't think you're going to see it until end of May at earliest. And the reason I say that is the teams who stink were always supposed to stink. Now, you could say the Marlins were supposed to be good, but then you'd be out of baseball. Because inside baseball, people knew what the Marlins were. Inside baseball, people knew what the Rockies were and the White Sox. If you had the Dodgers right now at 5-18, you would have a Dave Roberts watch going on right now. Same with the Braves and Brian Snitker. So I think that the teams who stink are going to lose a hundo, and it was expected.
What's the best meal you had in Paris so far? Is that coming tonight?
No, it's funny. Before the show, I went to some random place to get a quick baguette. And in a regular city, you wouldn't even walk into this place. In Paris, it might as well have been the best sandwich I've ever had. And it was €5, and no one speaks English. You go in and you get a baguette avec fromage ou poulet, and you eat it, and it's so fresh and delicious. You can't go wrong here.
What's the exchange rate? What's a euro?
So 1 euro is about, I always calculate it's about $1.20, but I think it's a little smaller now. I think it may be $1.15. I'm not exactly positive. I'll let you know when I get the credit card bill.
You know, you make it sound like there's not a Starbucks in Paris, like they'd be offended.
Oh my goodness. Stop. Don't let him speak when he does this, David. This is the chain life that he lives. I can't deal with. I'm so jealous of your baguette right now.
I walked right past the Paris McDonald's and kept going today.
Good. I think you lose your citizenship. And I'm talking about U.S. citizenship if you go in the Paris McDonald's. Okay, only in Paris, Kentucky. He's David Samson, nothing personal, records it in 47 minutes. Then he goes back to drinking in Paris, and we'll talk to him next week.
And you can watch on DraftKings at 10 a.m. because I don't want to stop watching Miller and Moulton, because you should watch the whole show and then come to DraftKings Network at 10 for nothing personal.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
That might have been his best segment ever. At least as long as I've been listening. I know he's been on a lot longer than that, but
I just forwarded him the text I got from my mother.
what'd she say?
Have I told you how much I love that man?
All right, so both of these clips are 30 seconds long.
Are we going double hoops, hockey hoops? What are we doing?
Canes first, and
Okay.
then Nuggets.
Okay. This is when you know you've got material to work with. When double bang ain't making the survey. Okay, seriously.
No, you're exactly right. We can do double bang in the bonus hour too. I just didn't have enough. I mean, it takes time to find these things, send them to myself, edit them.
Well, I mean, when you get here at 5 to 6,
before I get texts from my family saying I was late today, I was not. I actually beat Mark in this morning for what it's worth.
Yes, Feeney, we keep David under control a little bit as opposed to his appearances on the Le Batard show. Well, they go after him on the Levitard show. They antagonize him. Plus, he's being well compensated. You know, it's a little different on our show. Trent's just bummed ambient that he doesn't have the Apollo Creed shorts to go with the hat.
Oh,
They're
I
so
want 'em.
expensive.
I want them so bad.
For whatever reason, I looked at them and they just pop up on my feed all the time now.
Where are you going to wear them? No, I'm being serious.
Around the
I
house.
could wear them here.
Boxing shorts? You're going to wear boxing shorts?
You
Around
only
the
see me
house.
from the waist up. I mean, I could.
Around the house. You make it sound like he's, he's cleaning and he's cooking. I mean,
I wouldn't cook in them. You could get a stain.
Don't want to get a grease stain on the old Apollo Creed shorts. I want them so bad.
you can only have one. A new jersey, one of the new Lions jerseys, or the Apollo Creed shorts.
It's the Lions jersey, no question.
no.
But
Of course.
I'd take the Apollo Creed shorts over any other of my team's jerseys.
Okay. Okay. Let me amend it. It's the Lions jersey. It's a Frank Ragnow jersey, though. Okay. It's not a skill player. Okay. And I'm not even giving you Panay Sewell. Okay. Giving you Frank Ragnow.
Give me Frank. I'll take Frank.
Which would look hysterical on you. Because Frank's two of you.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. We'll talk a little golf in about 15, 20 minutes. What an exciting weekend in the sport. I mean, you got two Americans in their mid-20s who are absolutely dominating on the PGA and LPGA Tour. And then you got this 15-year-old from Jacksonville Beach who I guess is going to have to decide, what, do I take over the world before I'm 20? Wow, lots of good stuff to talk about. Bob Harig will join us. We'll talk a little golf. Pat Kirwan in 40 minutes as we gear up, a little more than 48 hours away from the NFL draft. What's our poll question again?
Speaking of the draft, with today being National Take a Chance Day, our research team did a lot of work to figure that out. Which 2021 draft class QB would you take a chance on? Right now, Justin Fields getting nearly 60% of the vote. Trey Lance getting 23% of the vote. Mac Jones a little over 11%, and Zach Wilson got a vote.
Somebody voted for Zach Wilson? Sean Payton is taking part in our poll question?
It was me.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. It was me.
Okay, we have to do this on the air. Quick conference, Miller and Moulton. Do we have to replace him? I mean,
it's duly noted that
that's grounds for
God's
dismissal
green
right
earth could you pick Zach Wilson over the rest of those quarterbacks?
I mean, that's
No, no, no.
grounds
I mean,
for
it's
firing.
We can go through it if you want.
Yeah,
reasons.
Justin Fields has played the position at a competent level, won games. Did you see Zach Wilson play for the New York Jets?
Yes.
And you still voted for him.
I think a lot of things corrupted Zach Wilson's potential. I don't think he would ever have been great under any circumstances.
But you're willing to take another chance on him. So you're never would to be great. You're going to take a chance on never going to be great.
Of the 4 options, which to David's point, we might never see another draft this bad with the quarterbacks. Trey Lance got picked 3rd overall. Kyle Shanahan doesn't even believe in him. Okay. Then Justin Fields, corrupted by the Bears, can't throw the ball either. I mean, I think he's skilled. We'll see what he does in Pittsburgh. I don't know. That's the sexy answer. I'm not rocking with it. And then what's our other option?
Mac Jones.
Oh, Mac Jones. Yeah. He got his chance for like 3 years to start. He stinks. What do you want me to tell you?
He won 10 games and took a team to a playoffs.
But that's just not, that's not.
With a bad roster around him,
and then got destroyed in the playoff game by a good team.
Who cares? Dan Marino lost a playoff game by 55 points. Who cares? Okay, I mean, come on.
Dan Marino's Dan Marino. Mac Jones is Mac Jones.
You took Zach Wilson over Mac Jones. Mark, honestly, I think we have to very quietly, I don't know if we have to go on LinkedIn or, do one of those. I think we have to start taking applications. I'm very concerned.
Indeed. For the record, I wouldn't take any of them. But in the spirit of the question, he's going to Sean Payton. They don't really have another option. Who knows?
No, they have any other option than him. I seriously, I don't think I've seen a starting quarterback play worse in the National Football League. I could start rattling off names of bad quarterbacks. Honestly,
I think the Peterman one that I gave you earlier is worthy of discussion, David.
He threw 5 interceptions and a half. I'd take Nathan Peterman over Zach Wilson. I would.
Zach Wilson does stink. They all stink. Mac Jones once lost a game by getting stiff-armed by Chandler Jones on a fumble 6, or maybe it was a pick 6. I don't remember, but he was the last line of defense, and he got stiff-armed.
Yeah, by a 300-pound guy.
Raiders win.
Man, I'll tell you, the grudges that you hold are strange. They really are.
I won't deny that.
So go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X to vote on which 2021 draft class QB would you take a chance on, with today being National Take a Chance Day.
Whew. Man, I guess he is Sean Payton, because Sean Payton did a pick swap for him. I thought he was going to say, I'm choosing Zach Wilson because of his mom. Okay. Honestly, I thought it was going to be something funny. I thought it was going to be something like, have you seen the women in Zach Wilson's life? Okay. I thought it was going to be something funny. He actually tried to bring up a football reason to support Zach Wilson.
And there isn't a football reason to support Zach Wilson.
No, I think paper or plastic is about the only thing Zach Wilson's qualified to do.
Would you guys at least concede that the Jets, come on. It's the Jets. That's where quarterbacks go to die. If Caleb Williams sucks in Chicago, what are we going to say? Oh, it's the Bears. That's what happens. Right?
I'll grant you this. The Jets' offensive line was not good, but he played with a great defense in which really all he had to do was hand the ball off and not throw the ball to the other team, and they were in every game they played. He had it a lot better than some of the other guys that we're talking about.
We've got to move this along because we're on Zach
Whatever.
Wilson. Exactly.
All
And
right.
it's time now for I need something uplifting, because this Zach Wilson talk has brought me down, and I want to be built up on National Take a Chance Day. So we'll let Trent take another chance on this show with the Molly Made play of the day.
What's better than one play of the day? 2 plays of the day. So we'll go in chronological order here, David. Number 1, the NHL. Many believe that the Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in hockey, but They're down 3-2 to the Islanders in the late third period. Then there was a rally in Raleigh, as they put it on the newspapers, with a pair of goals in under 10 seconds. Here's both of them.
Kept in by Carolina. Jarvis with it. Especially caught. Sebastian Aho! And the roof's gone at PNC Arena.
You just count on Aho to do it.
And there's still time left here. As Martinook backs it in, he scores! Jordan Martinook with the steal of the finish, and it's 4-3 Carolina.
So the Hurricanes actually go on to win at 5-3. They take a 2-0 lead in the first round over the Islanders. So, I don't know. You guys got any quick thoughts on that? It was pretty remarkable.
First time the Islanders in their franchise history blew a 3-0 lead in a playoff game, up 3-1 going to the third, gave up 4 in the third. Yeah, that series is over.
Done. Absolutely. They had nothing for Carolina in that game to begin with, let alone after the comeback. This sucker's over.
They outplayed them in game 1 and lost. And then yesterday they were ham and egging it and should have been able to get the horse into the barn and didn't. All right, what else you got?
Number 2, the NBA. The Lakers and Nuggets script is pretty funny. Lakers just always get a huge lead. Nuggets come way back. Joker gets the last laugh. Except last night, it was Jamal Murray with the last laugh. Here's the radio call of his game winner.
Rebound Porter. There's the stop. Over to Jamal Murray. They have to foul. They have to foul. He's at the midcourt circle. 4 seconds. 3 seconds left. Why are they not fouling? Jumper Murray. Got it into hard. Denver mounts the comeback. They come back from 20 points down. They win game number 2. 101 to 99 is the final. And the Lakers can take that L on the way out.
So, kind of funny because the Lakers absolutely did not have to foul.
The game was tied.
The game was tied at 99.
Let me ask you this. Did the Lakers have a foul to give? Is that what he's arguing?
Oh, I don't know.
So that this way to disrupt the play? Or did he just lose track of the score?
That's a good point. I don't know. I took it as he was just kind of arrogantly saying if they don't foul, he's going to hit a shot. And they need to get
No, I think he thought that they were down a point.
Either way, it was just the energy and electricity coming from that call right there. Nuggets go up 2-0.
Jamal Murray, the game winner at the buzzer, 101-99. Home teams in the NBA playoffs are 11-0.
That's the Molly Maid play of the day. Call Molly Maid today, 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839. And be sure to tell them that Miller and Moulton sent you. Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other. With a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. You know, I did something last night I hadn't done in months, maybe a year. Watch the evening news. And I'm good for a while.
Network or local?
Network. I watched the 6:30.
Gotcha.
No, I can't do the local. Can't do it.
Oh, come on.
So
you got to enjoy the humor in it. The crosstalk. Count how many times they go to weather.
David loves local news. I gotta tell you, I lived with my grandparents for a summer because I had an internship up. They live in like a beach town up in Ludington, Michigan, which is like, you know, on the coast of Lake Michigan. And I had an internship at the local newspaper there. And every single night we watched Fox News. Eventually I would just, this was in 2020, mind you, we're like during the pandemic, right before the election. It was just great entertainment every single night. Everyone on there gets so fired up.
So I watched John Oliver yesterday. And, you know, he doesn't, and now this or whatever.
Right.
CNBC celebrates their 35th year anniversary, and he starts playing all of the clips of all the things that they get wrong.
Jim Cramer over
Jim
and over
Cramer
again.
going nuts about Boeing. Buy Boeing. I mean, it just.
Who's made fun of more in the newsroom? Here's the danger. The sports guys make more fun of the weather people, and we're jealous because they get all the time. But we also all know that the weather people they're valued the most in the building.
That's the
They
most
are.
watched segment, isn't it?
When they do research as to the number one reason why people watch the local news,
Yes.
weather is always one or two. Sometimes headlines will win, or big story or what have you, but usually it's weather. And when they ask that question, okay, sports always comes in near the bottom. That's why I give a lot of credit to the station in Jacksonville that we're lucky enough has picked us up to lead into their franchise sports guys show from 10 to 1, because they cover sports. They travel around the country. They cover sports like they're, the way ESPN covers it nationally. I mean, they do an amazing job. And very few local stations do that.
Well, Jacksonville's still truly it's a big city, but it still has a small town feel. I mean, I would imagine, it's very still contained.
Yep. Well, David, you'll appreciate this before I call Bob real quick. So I had a professor in college, Mike Castellucci. He's a legend. He worked in like Dallas for a while in local TV.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us straight up, like during our lectures, he's like, you'll never be the weather guy. You'll never be as popular as the weather guy. He's talking to a bunch of sports kids, right? He's like, just know you got to know your role.
Now, I will say certain sports anchors, like, if you go back 20 plus years in Southwest Florida, Jay Severson was very popular doing the sports. Brian Simon was popular at Wink. I mean, I'm not saying this. I was a big deal in Binghamton. I mean, I was voted number one TV personality in the market. Oprah was second. I mean, and I had the audacity to ask for a $6,000 raise and got fired. Yeah, DC in the Fargo-Moorhead area, he mentioned Ed Schultz. Ed Schultz was huge. Yeah, I don't know if I can fit that on my tombstone. That struck, but
All right, we got Bob, and here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour, Pat Kirwan at the top of the hour as we start to get waist deep, at least, in our NFL draft prep. By the way, we're doing a live NFL draft show, 8 o'clock Thursday on Twitch, twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton, and we'll do the whole first round. And we look forward a lot. Okay, we think a lot of the TV draft coverages, they talk about who just got drafted. We are constantly looking forward, what teams need, what assets they have to trade. Does so-and-so need to move up to take this guy? Because if they wait 7 more spots, he may not be there. That's how we do the draft. We have a lot of fun while doing it, but it's on Twitch Thursday night. It begins at 8 o'clock. Bob Harig joins us, and we're going to try something. We're going to experiment with Bob. Bob, are you ready? We're going to try to do a golf segment and not mention LIV. Are you ready?
I'm all good. Go for it.
All right. Bob Harig, Sports Illustrated, covers golf for a living. Author of the book Drive, The Lasting Legacy of Tiger Woods. He knows I'll have to add another chapter or two because of the subject that we're not allowed to mention. But that's Bob Harig. Follow him on X at Bob Harig, Harig. Bob, what an amazing weekend, huh? A 27-year-old, 25-year-old, and 15-year-old American dominating the golf scene. This is an amazing time in the sport in the States, isn't it?
It's kind of nice to actually have those things to talk about instead of the other things that we have been talking about and focused on so much. We're actually talking about greatness on the course. And, the 15-year-old, I believe his name is Miles Russell, right?
Yeah. From Jacksonville Beach.
Who had a great, Corn Ferry Tour event in the Bradenton area. And then, of course, Scheffler and Nelly Korda, what they've been doing lately. This is kind of what golf needs, I think. Obviously, having a great story like a young player is nice, but the game itself kind of needs people to dominate, step up and dominate. It's not like team sports where we like parity. In golf, I think we want a front runner because now the next time they play, you're curious to see if they can keep it going. And maybe you don't like them to keep it going, so you're rooting for somebody to take them down. And then that brings you in, and maybe you develop a fondness for that person who beats them. So I think this is good right now, and it's obviously incredibly impressive what both those players are doing.
Well, Scheffler from the Arnold Palmer Invitational through last week is like 65 under in 5 tournaments. It's something ridiculous. No one's even close to that. Obviously, he's rolling the ball incredibly well, but his ball striking is as good as anybody not named Woods in the last, 10, 12 years, Bob?
Absolutely. That's the whole key. He's those strokes gained stats that you see. One of them is strokes gained tee to green. And in just about every tournament this year, he's 1 or 2. And every tournament that he's played, every 72-hole event that he's played, we've not been looking at Pebble Beach because that event was skewed by weather. And he finished second there. I think he was third in Houston, and he ended up missing a playoff by a shot. He's dominating from off the tee to the green. And you can win not being first or second in those stats, but it's hard to get beat when you're up there like that all the time. And then you bring in the other aspects. He's been really good with the short game. Not necessarily his putting. His putting has been good, but his chipping has really been outstanding. At the Masters, believe it or not, he didn't have as good of an iron game as he's had in other tournaments. He typically, when you win the Masters, you're right up there in greens and regulation. He was not. He was, he actually missed a lot of greens at Augusta, but he was getting it up and down. His short game was terrific. And, that was Tiger. Tiger would have his rounds where he'd only hit 9 greens and he'd still shoot 67. That's the key. When you don't have it in the other areas, you make up for it somewhere else. And that's what Scheffler's doing.
Bob Harig covers golf for Sports Illustrated, author of the book Drive, The Lasting Legacy of Tiger Woods. It's been out for a month or so. Would make a great Father's Day gift or Mother's Day gift for that matter. Follow Bob on X at Bob Harig, Harig. Hey, Bob, when Tiger was dominant, that 15-year run where he was the best ball striker in the world. Now, Duval had his moments, Phil had his moments, and the whole deal. But we knew nobody hit the golf ball like Tiger Woods. Right now, nobody's hitting the golf ball like Scheffler. Is there another guy, though? Is there a guy out there that you think is coming? Or is he just, is there a Duval? Is there a Phil? Is there somebody, that's on the precipice?
Morikawa is on Scheffler's level as a ball striker. It's the reason he won 2 majors early on, because he hit the ball so good. And then something happened. First of all, his putting has been a problem. He's messed around with that a lot. And he lost a little something too. He's seemingly regaining it, but you hear him talk all the time. Like he talked during the Masters about, I found something on Monday. That's always a little ominous when somebody says that, like in other words, if you're just finding it on Monday of Masters week, you wonder if it's going to hold together under the gun. And on Sunday at the Masters, it really didn't. But Morikawa had a pretty good Hilton Head also. He faded a little bit on Sunday, but I think he's inching his way back, and now he doesn't hit it as far as Scheffler though. And that's the other thing that can get in your head is if you're behind him all the time. They played in the final round at the Masters. You start feeling like you got to hit it closer. But is there anybody else coming? I mean, what we're seeing right now in the game is, look at a guy like Thigala, who finished second, who's a really, really good player. But I don't think he even has the belief in himself yet. And he's only a year younger than Scheffler. He's just sort of starting to push through. A lot of these other guys have regressed. Rory's in a funk. Justin Thomas had a good tournament. He's an incredible ball striker. But, look at what he did at the Masters at Valspar, where he just had these implosions. I think it's kind of the time for some of these guys to dig deep. They probably better not look at whose name is up there and focus on, just doing their own thing, because otherwise it's going to start to get in their heads.
Well, and Bob, you led me right to where I wanted to go, because it certainly, again, Tiger's Tiger, I get it, but this is reminiscent in that on Sunday here, Straka in the final group couldn't play with Scheffler. You mentioned Morikawa, even at the Masters, guys fell apart are they just pressing so much because Scheffler's playing so well, or is it just the moment that's getting to some of these other players?
Yeah, I think it's a fair point to wonder. What always happened with Tiger a lot was there was this sense that I've got to do something spectacular because he's not going to make mistakes. And so all that did was play into Tiger's hands, because inevitably when you try to do something you shouldn't do, you're going to make the mistake. We saw that at Augusta. Morikawa said he got greedy on the 9th hole. What did he do? He hit it in the one place. Well, there's couple of places, but you can't go in that left bunker. Led to a double bogey. It was going to lead to probably a bogey if he gets it out of the bunker. Just a hard place to get up and down from. You can't hit it in the water on 11 like guys did. But here's the thing: by going for that and making that double, it glosses over the fact that Scheffler made a bogey on that hole. Like, Scheffler makes mistakes too. And I don't think, but just not a lot. Like, he didn't make any bogeys on Sunday or during the final round at Hilton Head until it was over, until it didn't matter. So there's a fine line there. You have to be careful of trying to do too much because you're afraid that he's not going to make any mistakes. I think guys have to just play their own game, do the best you can. And maybe once in a while he will make a mistake, but if you're going for it, and I think this is a problem Rory has had throughout his career, he's so good that he knows that he can pull off those shots. He can be aggressive. But, when you do that and miss, you pay the price. And now what you've done is you've made it even easier on him.
Bob, Scheffler and Nelly Korda. Scheffler's 27, Korda's 25. The one's won 4 out of his last 5 starts. The other's won 5 in a row, which is, no one's ever done better in the LPGA history. They're both American. They're young. They're both not exciting. It seems as if in the last few weeks, though, they're both trying to just show a little bit more. They're doing more media. Korda jumped in the pond at the tournament that used to be the Dinah Shore, because that's what you do when you won the Dinah Shore. She did a little media more last week than she normally does. It seems as if Scheffler and Korda are beginning to realize that, hey, I got to open up a little bit.
Yeah, I've especially seen that out of Korda. I think Scotty's been fine the whole time. Going back a couple of years now since he's been in this position. I don't see him saying no very often. He's just, he is who he is. He's not really a dynamic personality, and that's just not his fault. Korda has had some issues with giving more time to the media. And unfortunately, with the women's game, which gets less coverage, that's a bad recipe for them. I remember I wasn't there, but she was not great at the Olympics. She was tough with her time, and, people make the effort to go to Japan to cover the Olympics, and an American star is winning. I think that the LPGA and some of her advisors have gotten to her a little bit and told her, she's got to try harder. And I agree. She did. And look, afterward on Sunday, after she was soaking wet, she sat there in that robe and she talked about being freezing. She did a lot. She did her post-round interviews. She went on Golf Channel. She went on the No Laying Up podcast. Good for her. I mean, I think they need that. And, all they had to do is look back. If they read anything up about Nancy Lopez, Nancy Lopez, when she won 5 in a row, if you read back at that time, it's incredible the amount of coverage that got. She was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. She was a star, and getting hit all over the place, like way more than Korda is now. The media landscape is so much different. So, you're fighting for attention in a niche sport as it is. And so I'm not saying it's easy. These guys have a lot of demands outside of the media, and then you're trying to play great golf. And in Scheffler's case, his wife is due. They've got a lot going on. So I'm not saying it's easy, but it is sort of incumbent upon them to, take advantage of this opportunity.
All right, I promise we won't call you for at least 3 weeks, but can we hit you up PGA week?
Absolutely. Yes. Anytime.
Bob Harig, Sports Illustrated is where you can read his work. Also author of Drive, The Lasting Legacy of Tiger Woods, getting great reviews. Been out for a month. A great Mother's or Father's Day gift for the golfer in your life. Follow Bob on X at Bob Harig, Harig. Be well, Bob.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
Bob Harig. See, we did it. We did about 13 minutes there. No mention.
No need to go live golf right now. Not with what Scheffler and Korda are doing, and young kid there, 15-year-old, doing a top 20 at the Corn Ferry. That's heady stuff.
Nearly qualified for a PGA Tour event, lost on a Monday qualifier in a playoff. Miles Russell's his name, from Jacksonville Beach. He's left-handed. He's skinnier than Trent. I didn't think that was possible.
Well,
him, and
he's 15.
him and Thigala are both skinnier than Trent. Man, Thigala's skinny. Whoo-wee. I don't know if he can play the Open Championship. I think if he gets the wrong tee time, they'll just blow him right off the course. He'll end up in a gorge.
I can't wait for all the British impressions that David's going to do when the.
Oh, you can. You can, really. I mean, by the time the Open Championship is done, you will retract that statement, Trent. That's all I'm saying.
The wind is freshening a bit.
Pat Kirwan is on deck. We will dive into the NFL draft with Pat on the other side. Thanks so much for listening. Right here. Who else? Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GI certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation, and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Mark, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Thanks.
My mic wasn't on. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure you know me.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a
Morning,
couple of.
Pat.
And good morning, Skinny.
David's like,
listened.
skinnier than Trent. I'm like, yeah, I hope so. He's 15.
I know. That was your comeback. He didn't even, he ignored you. He just kept talking.
That's kind of the MO.
Yeah, well, you set yourself up for great entertainment on the show.
So what's the latest, Pat? Is J.J. McCarthy going too?
Oh, got it. What a mistake that would be.
I agree, but it'll make the draft a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, it'll be complete chaos at the top if it does. You know that I call that's a no guts pick. Let's pick the guy that won a national championship. That's not a real good criteria for being an NFL quarterback.
Well, and not only that, right? It's like he was a day 2 guy all year. Like,
yeah,
why?
He's what I call NFL mediocre. You win games, you have a 10-win season one time and that kind of thing. But when he gets on a level playing field where the team that he is on is a little maybe less than the team he's playing, there's plenty of times that's happened to Mahomes. Mahomes defies that. That guy won't be able to do that. Jaden Daniels can, because he's an athlete that can really go. I'm not a Caleb guy, so we've gone over that 100 times.
Right.
Michael Penix might be able to because he's got that gun. I mean, he's a serious thrower of the football.
And this is just my novice. My only worry with him is that you start looking through the positions. He's got a tight end, 2 wide receivers, and I think 3 offensive linemen that are all getting drafted. That was a pretty damn good team he played in front of last year.
Yes, it was. But he's got raw skills that some of the other guys don't have anywhere near. Ultimately in this league, you got to throw the ball great. And if you don't, you're going to get exposed sooner or later. NFL football comes down to 2-minute drills. We say this on the show all the time. If you're not a guy that can really operate in that environment, you're not going to win enough games. Good morning, David.
Well, good morning, Pat.
How are you?
I'm good.
Oh.
Earlier in the show, I said that Zach Wilson is the worst NFL quarterback I've seen in the last 25 years. Mark threw out Nathan Peterman. That's where we are today.
Well,
our poll question today, Pat. Today is National Take a Chance Day. So, which 2021 draft class QB would you take a chance on? Lance, Wilson, Mac Jones, Justin Fields.
Who would I take a chance on? Justin Fields. But I build a Lamar offense, not be trying to make him something he's not. They never tried to make Lamar more than he is. No, they may never win anything. He gets shut down like Randall Cunningham got shut down in the playoffs. But I think you'd win more games. Mac Jones he's what he is. Trey Lance, that was just a huge mistake. He'll be buried for life. But Zach Wilson. There were 6 teams that had 2 quarterbacks on their roster on Friday night. I said, he is going to land up on one of those 6 teams. And I canceled out Denver because I know they're drafting one. And I canceled out Chicago because I know they're drafting one. But there they are.
Here we go.
Oh, hey, let's go, Steve.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the 3rd hour of Miller and Moulton on this Tuesday, and that means time for Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains during the season. He also works on CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us twice a week during the season, once a week during the offseason, courtesy of Pinchers. Pinchers from Tampa to Key West and over a dozen points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Pat, we're on in Jacksonville and Huntsville now, although Huntsville only takes our first 2 hours, so they're going to have to download you at millerandmoulton.com. But how are you?
I'm doing great, and we are in the week of the draft, so the next time I talk to you, we'll have finished round 1, which will be interesting. And it's the same draft as always. There's rumors everywhere. I told Jim, I said on Sunday, only Sunday, I'm going to write down the rumors that are being broadcast around the league via all the social media sites. And I really stopped at 14 because I couldn't stop laughing at all the things that are out there as, well, this might happen. Oh, New England and Minnesota might work together. Ayuk might get traded. Justin Jefferson, he could get traded. All that nonsense. Sutton's not going to get traded, which means he's the one that will get traded. It was quite fun to do. And I can tell you the real decision makers in this league are not talking to the media. And when they do talk, it's it's a smokescreen. And so we get all this stuff out there, and the callers, they live by all of it, they enjoy all of it, and they use it to speculate what they think should happen. Mark was just asking me off air about JJ McCarthy at 2. That would be a critical error, I would think, at some point. He's not that good. He'll get drafted in the first round, but we talked about this last week, and we talked about the draft classes. Which draft class does this remind you of? And of course, none of us felt it was the class of 2020, Burrow, Tua, Herbert, and Jordan Love. Love came through it in flying colors. But I'll throw one to you today. Tell me if it's this draft class. 2018, Baker Mayfield. Is there a rebounder in this group that kind of starts out bad, stumbles around, and comes back? Sam Darnold, he just goes to the wayside and he's never going to be a starter. Josh Allen's a superstar. Josh Rosen is out of football in a year. And Lamar Jackson. So is it one of those draft classes where there's 2 really interesting guys and a bunch of question marks? I think it's more like that draft class. I don't think it's going to be one with 4 stars. I think it's one with 1 or 2 stars.
Well, and that quarterback that slips, sometimes, Lamar slipped to the end of that first round, and he obviously turned out to be terrific. Is it the quarterback that slips that gets himself put in maybe the best situation?
Well, good question, because isn't that what Aaron Rodgers did?
Yes.
And I was at that draft, and he was standing there with his parents, and his mom had tears in her eyes as he kept falling. And when he came and sat down with me, I said, listen to me, I know you're upset, all that nonsense. You just went to a great football team. You're going to land up having a great career. You don't have to believe me right now, but you will. So I do think there's something to that, Mark. The more you slip, the better the team. But the problem with this draft, and I know you guys study this thing, after you get past like pick 14, 13, or 14, who needs a quarterback? No one. It's kind of well, that's typically how it goes. The bottom half of the draft is usually teams that won. And why did they win? Because they have quarterbacks.
Well, I know Dallas won't in the first round, but the Rams haven't had a first round pick in 8 years. And listen, Stafford can still play, but he's also a lot of wear and tear on those tires. He's broken down a couple times recently. I don't think the Rams would take a quarterback at 19, but that wouldn't be the worst draft pick in the world, Pat.
I agree with that. But I think you said something that I believe in, that they want to and see the rationale for doing it, but I don't think they'll do it. Because at the end of the day, the GM and the owner, they have already been rewarded by buying their way into a Super Bowl. And I think if it gets down to a breakdown of Stafford, they'll try to buy their way in again. And more veterans. I think this is to you, David, because you're the historian. Remember when no quarterbacks were available in free agency? There were years that now they're out there all the time. And the Kirk Cousins of the world show up and land up being available. So, and that's what you really think about Prescott, that his contract sooner or later is going to put him on the open market. So I think that's who the Rams are. They like renting more than buying.
Well, and the other thing is, before we give it back to Mark, is the Rams, I think, believe they're close. I mean, the Rams outplayed the Lions for large parts of that game. Now, they took a hit when Donald retired. There's no doubt about it. But they thought they were like, get me a corner, an offensive lineman, and a defensive lineman, and let's go back to the Super Bowl, especially in the NFC.
Yeah, and they just kept on coming. We didn't see it in October. No one was ready to buy that. By the time we got to December, we're like, wow, these guys are dangerous. So they've done a nice job. They got a lot of picks. It'll be interesting. There's an interesting team to see how they use those picks. I don't think they want to bring in all those kind of players. I think they're going to parlay this into 5 players, use a couple picks to bounce up and down the draft, and then parlay the rest of them, 3 or 4 of them, into next year's draft picks. I think that's how they're going to operate.
How many trades does Minnesota have in the works right now, Pat? I mean, obviously starting with trying to go with New England if they're going to work, Arizona, the Chargers. How many trades have they worked out to try to get set for Thursday night?
Hopefully at least 4. I think they have one in the top 3, probably New England, that they're trying to. I don't know that they'll ever get there. I think they're going to get frustrated by Arizona and the Chargers, maybe the Chargers, and then they'll have one parachute down below a little bit just to block Denver or something, because Denver can't go up to those high spots. They don't have enough reasons and capital to do it. But if you get sliding and this thing gets, to the Giants, who knows? The Giants, you talk about a team that might take a quarterback that no one's talking about. The Giants, boy, they had they spent a lot of time with a lot of the quarterbacks. I get a chance to stay on top of their behavior. They really dedicated a lot of time to the quarterbacks this year.
Now, the story a month ago was the Giants are going to vet the quarterbacks this year because, well, basically they need the practice because they're going to have to take a quarterback next year. I always thought, yeah, organizations really like to waste a bunch of time. Okay, so I didn't believe that storyline a month ago. But how about this storyline, Pat? If you're Shane and Dable, you don't think you're ever going to be picking sixth again. And if you are, you ain't going to be the ones doing the picking and the coaching. So if you're the Giants, isn't this in theory your best chance in the next 3 to 5 years to get a quarterback?
Yeah, that's how I was trained. If you're staring at one at your pick, take them. Now, if they talk to the Arizona Cardinals, so think how appealing that would be. They go to Arizona spot or the Chargers. You go to the Chargers spot to block Minnesota. Both of the teams are right above them are taking receivers, and going down one spot and picking up an extra pick would be a nice thing to do. Arizona doesn't need it as much, but we did a swap at 3 and 4, and I could see the Giants going, we got this far, and one of the quarterbacks we like is still there. Let's just go to Chargers spot, give them our spot, give them a third or fourth, and block Minnesota and or Denver from taking the guy that we now feel like we would take. And I know they've got interest in a couple of them.
What do you have to give up to go from 6 to 4?
6 to 4. So when we were in 3 and they were in 4 and we swapped out, they gave us a player. We did it we needed a running back, and they had a big running back, Johnny Johnson, if you recall him.
Oh yeah.
He was a badass, excuse my language, but he was exactly what we needed. Yeah, you could do it for a player. You could do it for a 4th rounder, a 3rd rounder. It's not, but think of the lack of risk for the team above that's coming down 1 or 2 spots. Either 4 or 5 goes down to 6. They're getting a great receiver and something extra to do it. So those kind of things I think are possible.
Well, and if Arizona moves to 6, don't you think? I mean, with all the capital they have, they're going to be moving back up because that's. I don't know if you can have too many picks, but Arizona's at the point where they have so many picks, they're going to be dangerous at the latter part of the first round, aren't they?
Yes, they're going to be very dangerous. They should be able to jump back in and do whatever they want and get a couple of first rounders if they want to do it that way. Now, it does take – this is the curveball to all of it. You need a deal maker. I think all 3 of us have watched enough drafts to know, and at the end of the draft, we say things like, gosh, they should have – and especially David – they should have moved up. What an opportunity they had to get into the first round. And it's deal making's hard for some guys. Some guys it's easy. John Snyder, I think he wakes up trying to make as many deals as he can. It's the only thing that excites him. But there's other guys that can't do it. They just can't and they're afraid of the compensation. They're afraid of what it's going to be said about them. So it takes that kind of person and a partner that knows how to work with you that doesn't make you panic. Sometimes right before it's over, someone slips, you know what, that's not going to be enough. And some guys, okay, I'll give you an extra 5th or whatever. They'll throw in something. But other guys, really? You're going back on your word, and they back out. So deal making's part of it. But I do think they have the firepower to do it.
What do you think the Eagles are thinking? They're very aggressive, moving up and down. Don't have the picks that they've had in past years. In fact, they have 2 2s, but they don't have a 3. They got 3 5s, so they can add, a little something to their picks and move up if they want. But what do you think the Eagles at 22 are thinking?
Well, I think they're thinking we might miss out on a corner or a wide receiver. You're the one who has said Brian Thomas is getting picked higher and higher almost every week we talk. So when you're sitting at 22 back in a month ago, you're thinking Brian Thomas is going to fall to me. Now, I don't think they feel that way. I think they might feel the same way about the corners. Maybe it's Quinyon Mitchell. But if you go through these rehearsal mock drafts, which clubs do, and you arrive at the conclusion that Quinyon Mitchell, Terrion Arnold, and Brian Thomas are going to be gone, What would that drive you to do, David?
Well, also, I'm looking at teams, Denver at 12, Seattle at 16. I don't think either one of them have a second round pick. And if I'm the Eagles, I think I've got 2. Okay, so I'm looking at sending one of those 2 teams a second round pick and moving up either 6 or 10 spots.
John Snyder's been broadcasting that he's been talking to 3 teams about moving down for his spot. Now think about Seattle. If you can get Philadelphia into Seattle's spot, John the deal maker at 16, you should have the ability to get one of the corners or Brian Thomas. I think that's the kind of conversation. And Howie and John Snyder, they can make a deal in 5 minutes. 3 minutes, 2 minutes to see how the kids are doing.
Another minute for coffee. Get the deal done after that.
He's Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's moving the chains. That's 3 to 7 weekdays. He will be in Detroit broadcasting the draft live once again with his co-host Jim Miller. And Pat joins us courtesy of Pinchers. Our remaining moments with Pat on the other side on Miller and Moulton.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, Mark. Is Mark there again?
I'm here.
Yeah. So over here at West Bay yesterday was the South Florida PGA tournament.
Yeah.
And I think it's going on again today. I think they canceled after a while because of that rain. It just saturated the course. I saw maybe 100 guys warming up, and then all of a sudden one group went out, and the next thing I know, no one went out. So I wonder what they're doing today.
Yeah, we've got a big Florida amateur event at our club next week.
Yeah.
4 days, the course is shut down for this thing for.
Yep, I think this is shut down for almost the whole week here. But how about that rain early in the morning when you were going to work?
It poured, man.
Yeah, it was like
hear the thunder.
Horizontally. It's coming off the Gulf straight at everything. But you know how this place, it dries out pretty fast. But I saw a bunch of the guys, they had kind of like uniforms on. There were different colored teams or something, but it looks like they went out late in the afternoon to take another look at the course.
You don't even think about playing golf this week, do you? Draft week. There's no time for it.
No. There's a million things I got to do and get ready for it. And plus, you know, I've got hockey on my mind.
1-1, big game tomorrow night.
That kid Hosang, I'm telling you, that guy is the difference maker. He had both assists on Sunday. He is some passer. He's just different than everybody else out there.
Hey, you know Reed Lebster, the Everblades player? Or at least he just got called up, I think, a couple weeks ago.
I do not.
I don't know him, but what about him?
He dated one of my good friends from high school for years.
He's an Everblade now?
He is. As of last week, I think. It's Michigan State hockey guy, and then he just got
Gotcha.
put on the squad.
Well, how lucky she's not dating a ECHL player. They'll never have any money to buy anything.
Say.
They don't like hot dogs and peanut butter.
And free golf.
Yeah, that is. I do my part with that, with those guys.
Hey, so Pat, when do you get to Detroit?
Thursday morning, I have a 6 a.m. flight. I get in there at 8:50 or something like that. And
nice.
We do not go on the air till 4 o'clock. I got to do something with Jim Miller. I promised Jim I'd do something with somebody for the Bears or something. But that's it. And then they finally started treating us like humans. It used to be 3 to 7 show. Immediately at 7 o'clock, pre-draft show till 8, then the draft 8 to 11. It's like a little bit too much. And then Friday would be the same thing. We'd be 3 to 7, and then the draft, which on Friday could go even later than that. But we're not. We're doing 4 to 7, and then we're not doing the pre-draft show, which is great because that's just using stuff you were going to use during the draft anyway. We get a little dinner break. I can't believe they're treating us like this.
Wow.
There you go.
I know. It's like
couple of Coney Islands for you and get right back at it.
You don't know what to do with all that time.
No, I don't. And, when Gil Brandt was alive, he'd have someone stashed in the back that had a catering service for some of the first round draft picks. Gil would say, come on, let's go eat with the kids. And we'd go back there and it'd be like beautiful eating. No Gil.
That will be different this year, won't it, Pat?
Yeah, I did every pick, literally, of every draft with Gil for 20 years. And one of the greatest experiences of my life. Never been around someone his age who was so brilliant. Never. No computer, no notebook. Name a player, he'd start telling you 9,000 things about him. He was something else, man.
Had a pretty good drafting record for about 30 years, too.
Yeah, I know. 30 years. Think about that. He lived by his Bible of traits, too. He would not waver from traits. And he's kind of like a blackjack player. He knew what he was going to do, and your hand told him what to do, and he never wavered.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan as we get ready for the NFL draft in about 60 hours to the minute. 2.5 days away. 8 o'clock Thursday night. It's when our Twitch broadcast will begin also. Twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. Check us out if you never have before. We do the first round of the draft the same way Pat Kirwan and Jim Miller and a cast of characters do the first round of the draft. And they do it on NFL radio, where Pat can be heard weekdays 3 to 7, moving the chains. Pat, what are organizations doing right now? Are they doing anything? Are they making calls and setting up deals? Or is it all mock drafts? Or is the work done and they're killing time?
Well, the draft board is done, and it's locked up by now because the invention of the cell phone camera ended the issue of letting anyone see it. So it used to be kind of left out almost carelessly, but it's not. And probably in the GM's office, locked up. It's on a board on a wall and inside a wooden case. That's how most of them are. So that's done. I think they're still talking to clubs about tentative potential deals. Some places have released the scouts already and said, hey, thanks for gathering information for us. go home and rest up for spring practice that you got to go to now. So I was talking to LSU coach yesterday, and he was in the middle of getting ready for practice and all, but he still has NFL people calling him and double checking certain things or conflict of information. So Brian was interesting talking to him because I wanted to talk about Jefferson with him, the nose tackle. And he said, funny you bring him up. He goes, I'm getting more calls on him right now than the big timers. And I go, yeah, because people are really starting. Do we have enough information for Saturday when we think in the fourth round we'd like to take a guy like that? So I do think there's still some back checking on those kind of things. But most of the real interest, I recall going into Dick Steinberg's office many times in the last day or two, going over again compensation packages for a trade if in fact one was going to happen where we could agree on compensation and move up or down. So that's about it.
Pat, if I were to say pick one front office, GM / front office staff that you trust the most for this draft, who would it be?
Man, that's a good question. I don't want to insult anybody. I will say this. I do like Cincinnati, crazy as that sounds. Duke Tobin, his dad just died. What a lot of pressure on him. He's done such a good job drafting. One of those teams people don't, if you don't study him, you don't see it. You don't realize it. I would suspect David has looked at the Bengal roster over the years and said, you know what? They do a damn good job. And they are consistent. You kind of know how they're going to operate. They're not flying off the cuff, and they're pretty steady. They don't think they're going to make a living making trades. They kind of like the way the draft will fall to them. Their preparation's impeccable. Their coaches are very involved there. They expect, and that's all the way back to Paul Brown days. He wants those coaches to feel great about the players they take. So it's an interesting question, Mark, but as I look down the list, this team's, how can I trust Chicago? Who knows what they're going to do? They've destroyed a couple of quarterbacks, and it'd be fun to see what Washington does. Look, all the teams that have a new GM and a new coach, those I have no idea how they're going to really operate. But Cincinnati, to me, kind of right in the middle of nowhere, pick 18, but I like a lot of things about the way Duke Tobin handles it.
The Bengals don't make a lot of deals and almost always go into a draft with 7 picks, their own in each round. They have 10 picks this year. They have 2 3s, 2 6s, 2 7s. The Bengals, like if Denver looking to trade down, maybe get a quarterback, but acquire some picks, could the Bengals move up to 12? Are they thinking, let's draft our wide receiver this year to replace T. Higgins, who we're going to let walk in a year? I mean, the Bengals also, they think with a healthy Joe Burrow, Pat, that they're a Super Bowl contender because when he's healthy, they are. So maybe they're looking like, listen, let's take an extra 3rd round pick, because Jacksonville might take a wide receiver. So do the Bengals go, let's call Seattle, move up ahead of Jacksonville and take who Jacksonville wants. I think the Bengals might actually do something in a trade in the draft this year, which is like predicting the Steelers are going to make a draft day trade because they never do.
Yeah. So I like Mark's question. I haven't looked at the draft that way, but it's a really good question. And it's fast how my eyes went right to the Bengals. And I do talk to Duke Tobin enough to know that guy is one of the most underrated front office executives in the NFL. He is calm, steady, and he knows what a good player looks like. His dad raised him right, and he's much appreciated in Cincinnati and trusted.
And Mark, quickly, like New Orleans at 14 doesn't have a 3rd round pick. The Bengals have 2. So do the Bengals just call the Saints and go, hey, drop down 4 spots? There's somebody we really want. And do the Saints go, sure, let's do it?
Yeah. And now I know the way that the Saints think. They are in this draft, as almost always, for linemen. They start with line, and they'd have to be really talked out of a lineman to move on to other stuff. They really, and their line right now is not as fortified as it has been in the past. And Mickey Loomis will say to me all the time, Pat, you know how I operate, line first. So it's a great draft for him. And maybe he's got his eye on a guy that he could move down and still get the one he likes.
Well, and I think, I think Miami's in a spot there too where they need a lineman. It's going to be there at 21, but if an Arizona calls and wants to jump back into the first round, Miami with no thirds and no fourths, do they have to make some sort of a move to solidify this draft?
Yeah, they probably do. If you ask yourself the question, who do I think would move out of the first round? That's a question that should be thought through. I think Detroit has already kind of hinted they might do it. Who's in the second round that wants to get into the first round? And who's got the firepower? So who's got 2 picks in the second round? That's the first place I'd look and say, which guy with 2 picks in the second round wants to jump back in the first for something? And so I think Detroit's going to have a for sale sign on their door if you want to talk to those guys. That'd be the one, I think. Baltimore maybe, but I think Detroit's where I'm looking right at them going, man, if I'm those guys, I might be looking to move down. So that we have to look at. And that's another thing. If you're not just talking about this first round business, but if you're in the second round and maybe not just the guy who doesn't have a first round pick, but someone who has enough firepower. And that's why I always look for, do you have 2 in the second? That's the guy that can get into the first. And I think there's a couple of teams that, fit that category. So, you got to look at, because you might all of a sudden, like when we did that crazy mock draft, guess what happened? It was almost shocking to me, but Penix didn't go in the first round when the fans did it. I'm thinking, great rehearsal. What if that was happening and now you're sliding into near the bottom of the first? Hopefully you have called earlier, not the day of the draft, and talked to Detroit about a potential move.
Well, I know Carolina, Green Bay, and Philadelphia off the top of my head all have 2 second-round picks if they would want to maybe move up.
So do the Raiders, right?
Las Vegas has
the Raiders.
No, they have a 2 and a 3.
Okay. Because I've seen a lot of
so I think
Raiders trading up with Detroit. But we'll see. But I've just seen the Raiders moving up in that spot. So that's another team that can move up back into the first round to grab Penix.
Pat, final question, 30 seconds. Surprise team in the draft that you think will be aggressive and do something that, normally they don't.
Normally doesn't do anything. I don't know. Indianapolis. I don't know. You're really asking me to throw a curveball at it. I do not think New England's leaving the 3rd spot. There's one for you. I think they're going to stay there. They're going to get a quarterback of choice. Indianapolis, what do they usually do? Not too much. Pittsburgh. Hey, Pittsburgh could look at their quarterback world and say, we got Russell for a year, but we're not going to do more than that. What if they took a quarterback? That would shock a lot of people. And you know what? Life is different with Omar. Omar is a different player than what they've had with Kevin.
Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's moving the chains 3 to 7 weekdays.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA-certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Another great couple segments with Pat. Always worth it. I got to meet Pat at some point. He lives down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Half the year.
Also, yeah, Mark, spring football, I just don't.
I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I'm just to answer your question, like I'm the biggest Sparty in the world. I just don't care. It's really hard for me.
It starts at 8 and goes until the end of the first round, Michael. That is the official details of the Miller and Moulton Twitch draft spectacle.
And Mark's doing a cannonball.
I may open with a cannonball. Sometimes Canada Relief. Sometimes I do.
I do think Conan's funny, but I'm in the. I know that's controversial, but I think he's pretty good. Who's your favorite comedian of all time?
George Carlin.
There you go.
Good answer.
I was watching his bit on Earth Day yesterday. When he goes through all of the events that have happened on Earth since, and you think picking up a plastic bag and an aluminum can is going to save the Earth? Can't even save ourselves, and you think you can save the Earth? Oh my goodness.
So kids my age that
I was a big Pryor fan, though. It was really cool. I loved them both.
I loved Steve Martin's like stand-up stuff when I was a kid. I loved that stuff. Little sophomoric now, but I played my wife his bit about cat toys with this cat embezzling from him. Any of you have cats? Do you trust them?
I love Chris Rock and David Spade. So I wish I could listen to your guys' interview with them back in the.
Wish we had it.
Whenever that was.
It was the 2009 Super Bowl in Miami. It wasn't our first one in Miami. I think it was our second one.
Yes, you're correct.
So it was January, early February of 2010. So Mad Dog is doing his radio show at that Super Bowl. And we had an off-the-air conversation with him. And we're both there. He's near the back of the room. We're kind of in the front middle. And we had a talk with him one night, because we were both on at the same time. And we kind of made tentative plans, maybe we try to do something with him because he had come on our show, for years.
Okay.
And a day or two later, Mad Dog left the radio, never to return again. He got the news about his cancer, and he
different. You're thinking of Mad Dog Russo. You're
Jim Mad Dog Mandich.
Yeah, you're different.
My bad.
So he's at Radio Row, and we talked to him. And I don't know if it was the next day or the day after. He was not there, and he never was back on the radio. And he died like 8 months later.
Well, that's terrible.
Yeah, he was one of the color analysts for the Dolphins. Had a great voice and style to the way.
All right. Referred to the heart as a thumper. The thumper is beaten inside there.
You know, the biggest George Carlin thing that I know is the football versus baseball.
Which is
it's incredible.
Right. Plays
It's
still
so good.
today.
When you can do a routine 45 years ago and it holds up.
Baseball's played at the park. It's so good.
Every field's the same, rigid. Yep.
All right, here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. We've had quite a run on this show over the last couple hours. Started with David Samson a little over an hour and a half ago. Then we had a double play of the day segment. Hell, it could have been a triple play of the day segment. The sports scene was so dramatic last night. Bob Harig talking about, if you put the PGA LIV thing to the side, there's some great stuff going on right now. And then we just did a couple segments with Pat Kirwan because, this draft thing's happening Thursday night. I just had a good little run on the show here.
Trent, how are the Detroit fans going to feel when they trade out of the first round, hosting the draft, and they won't even make a pick this year?
Trust me, I'm serious about this. For as much as Detroit fans love Dan Campbell, and they love Brad Holmes even more. So if
they don't.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
It's the second time I wanted to turn his microphone off.
There's
today.
a couple guys. There's fans that don't like Campbell. There's not a single.
There are.
Well, yeah. After going for it all the time in the NFC Championship game, it's 90-10, but it's 100-0 with Brad Holmes. So if he's able to move out of the first round and acquire more capital, I think
they'll roar. That'll be the funniest thing. The Lions announce a trade and the place will go nuts. Hey, look at how smart we are.
Waited all night for this. Yes. We're trading out of the first round. That's why I've spent all day and night here. Yes.
It's why these team draft parties are so sensational. We were just talking about the late Jim Mandich during the break.
Mm-hmm.
And he's hosting the draft party for the Dolphins.
Yep.
And they're going to draft
Brady Quinn.
Brady Quinn. He's got him chanting.
2007 draft. They are taking Brady Quinn.
And he has the room chanting.
And he's got
Leading
inside information because Cam Cameron had just been named the head coach. He's a Michigan guy. Mandit's a Michigan guy. All right. He's got the info. He knows that Quinn's on the board. And there was thought the Vikings might take him, I think, at 7. And the Dolphins were 9. And they took this running back you may have heard of, Adrian Peterson. Okay. So the Dolphins, they got their guy. And they're going to take Brady Quinn. And with the first pick of the 2007 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins take Ted Ginn Jr.
And it was and to hear Mandich when he told us the story, he's got the room. Brady Quinn, Brady Quinn.
Yep.
They're all chanting it. Ted Ginn Jr.
Place goes nuts.
Hindenburg.
Right. Nuts. And Mandich just said, I'm never going to do this again. He's like, oh, man, I worked him up to a fever pitch. I'm thinking I'm setting my guys up. And instead, they got to come out and face this room. But fortunately, Mark, they followed up in the second round. They drafted John Beck, quarterback. So it made up for it.
Boy, that was that run of Miami Dolphins second-round picks that were all so memorable.
Yes.
And by memorable, I mean hardly ever played in the league.
Exactly. Beck, Pat White. Oh, yeah, they had a good run of second-round picks there for a while. Woo-wee. Mm-hmm.
Well, and maybe not specifically for the Dolphins, but Ted Ginn Jr. probably had a better career in the NFL than Brady Quinn did.
He did, and he had a much longer career. Okay, Ted, I think, played 10 years in the league.
Yeah.
But
13, 07 to 2020.
Okay, but he was never a star. And remember, the Dolphins are trying to replace Marino. And the drought is entering its 8th year. and they've just dealt with Jay Fiedler. All right, Gus Frerotte, Damon Heward, Culpepper, who they signed injured. I mean, the whole deal. Saban had just left them to go back to Alabama, but it's okay. We're drafting Brady Quinn, and we're good. Not so much.
And this was when the Patriots, of course, were winning Super Bowls, but the Jets were just as viable some of those years. That division. Whew.
Yeah. I mean, the Jets had a nice run there under Herm Edwards and Mangini. Yeah, the Jets were a good team. Bills were a mess. Okay, and the Patriots were a dynasty. Yeah, Patriots and Colts there. Colts had just won their first Super Bowl in Miami. Yep. You mentioned, though, would the Lions trade out? Does being in the draft, this is the truth. So the Rangers, just 20 seconds of hockey here. So the Rangers wanted to make a big deal at the deadline. But to do so, they would have had to give up their first-round pick in this upcoming draft. Their owner, because the draft apparently is going to be held at the Sphere in Vegas. Rangers owner owns the Sphere. Well, if they trade their first-round pick, then they're not going to have a pick. The owner, James Dolan, said to the general manager, Chris Drury, you can't trade the first-round pick. Drury's like, what do you mean? He goes, we're hosting the draft. We got to have a pick. I can't host the draft and not have a pick.
Which is one of the more ridiculous things you will ever hear. And it's because the hockey draft, not to bore people to death, has become much like the NBA draft. If you're not in the lottery and in the high end of the lottery, your chances of acquiring a star are relatively limited. Sure. Right. Can you get lucky and find someone? Of course. But the odds of picking, particularly where the Rangers are going to pick, doesn't bode well for a star.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But got to have that draft pick.
Right.
We're hosting at the Sphere.
And normally he doesn't have anything to do with the hockey team. He only interferes with the basketball team. But the word is that he interfered at the trade deadline and said, can't trade the first-round pick. I'm hosting the draft. We got to have a pick. Great, boss. Thanks.
See you in a couple of years.
We're going on 30 years without winning the cup. How important is this pick again?
You got to love when the owner pulls rank. And by love, I mean it is one of the worst things that can possibly happen in sports. It's the worst. I hate when owners...
I love the stories. I do. And usually they don't work out. Every now and then, all right, an owner actually, forces a deal or forces a signing and what have you. And you go, oh, wow, good thing they were that forceful. But there was just a story in the New York papers the other day. Here's 38-year-old Kyle Lowry. Knicks had a deal with Toronto for Kyle Lowry right before Kyle Lowry made 7 straight All-Star games. They had a deal all worked out. It was done. James Dolan said, nah, I don't like dealing with Toronto. We've done 2 deals with him lately, and he's fleeced us both times. I don't trust it. There must be something wrong with Lowry. Cancel the deal.
Was one of them Andrea Bargnani?
Yeah. Well, also, the guy in Toronto was in Denver, so he helped negotiate the Melo deal. Okay, and then, the Bargnani deal. And so Dolan said, it's kind of like we've joked when the Rays call. I mean, do you answer it? If the Eagles call you doing a deal with the Eagles?
No. They seem to win all the deals that they make.
Right.
I'm going to, Howie, appreciate the phone call. Have a great day, buddy. We'll see you at the owners meetings.
Howie,
meetings.
On paper, Howie, that sounds like a fair deal. You're going to have to give me a little more. Why? Because of you. Don't know what to tell you.
Poll question is up. It's been up. With today being National Take a Chance Day, which 2021 draft class QB would you take a chance on? Justin Fields, the overwhelming leader at nearly 60% of the vote. Mac Jones, about 18% of the vote. Trey Lance, 17%. And Zach Wilson has votes.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. that people think Zach Wilson is worth a second chance. And by people, I mean our producer. Man, I really liked him, Mark. I wanted to keep him for a while, have him start filling in, doing his own show. I mean, you're friends with his dad. I mean, this isn't going to bode well for your guys' friendship when we have to get rid of him.
I know.
He voted for Zach Wilson.
Let me ask you
I've got to talk to you about something, David, because I was planning on making a little trip this summer, a couple of days I may need off, and I'm going to be in Trent's hometown. So I might want to wait until after I go to Grand Rapids, Michigan this summer for 2 days before we do this.
All right, fair enough.
I don't want to, I'm not worried about the dad. It's the mom I'm worried about.
Right. So you and I both know that he's on borrowed time. We're just not going to tell him yet.
Right.
Okay. It's good to know. Right.
Why even make Zach Wilson an option on the poll question?
Because
it's so asinine.
Because they were all in the same draft, and we usually do 4 options. Sometimes we do 3, and rarely do we do yay or nay. Okay, so we like to do 4 options, and it was easy. The 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 15 3 years ago. 4 of them have already been traded or released. So include all 4. We did it as a courtesy. I didn't think anybody was going to vote for Zach Wilson. I mean, I really didn't. I mean, unless Zach Wilson's mom is listening to the show or saw it on X. I mean, man.
Hello, Mrs. Wilson. My name's Trent. I have faith in your son.
Wow.
I actually don't.
I've got a word for Trent. It's plastic, since he's going all Mrs. Robinson on me right there.
No. Goodness. Enough with the flirting with Mrs. Wilson here.
Wow. You know what? With that type of attitude,
there
are some places in this part of the world that we may need to take you.
Man, oh man. Think he's seen Dustin Hoffman and Mrs.
No.
Robinson? No,
I doubt he's heard of it.
I was going to say,
I don't know what you guys are even talking about.
There you go. Great. Okay, good. Well, we're going to have to make you watch it then, and then play back what you just said and see whether or not you think it fits. But listen, very serious question. If you're the Giants, are you taking a quarterback, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, then you have to be prepared to trade up to 4, probably. Pat is convinced that the top 3 teams are staying put, taking quarterbacks. Boom, boom, boom.
So you have to outflank the Vikings to get it. I mean, that's really what it's about if you're the Giants.
Yeah. If you're the Giants, what I think you have to hope for is that the Cardinals/Chargers do not want to move down to 11. But the Chargers will move back 1 spot because they know you're moving up for a quarterback. Okay, so they can take the same guy at 6 that they would take at 5. And in Arizona's case, okay, they're not going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. in all likelihood, so they're going to take Malik Neighbors. And they're like, oh, yeah, we can live with that. So that's what you have to hope for if you're the Giants. But I ask it because, and by the way, what I find interesting, and I'm bringing up Vegas again, because they reduced the odds as to who's going to go number 2 on J.J. McCarthy from 20-1 to 9-1. And Jaden Daniels' agent has said some questionable things about the Commanders organization. And there's some talk now that the whole Top Golf thing, Jaden didn't come off well. The other guys did. And the Commanders may go in a different direction.
Yeah, rumor has it he sliced every driver he hit and couldn't hit a 7-iron to save his hind end. They had a meeting at Top Golf.
Yes, they did. All 4 quarterbacks. Not going number 1. Yep, all 4 of them. And they wanted to see how the other guys would handle it. And, the word, take it for what it's worth, is that they didn't like the way Jaden Daniels was behaving and what have you. But they were very impressed with Drake May and J.J. McCarthy. And so let's just say McCarthy goes 2 and the Patriots take Drake May 3. What if Jaden Daniels is the guy who falls?
That I'm doing cartwheels if I'm the Giants trying to get to 4. That's my guy in this draft, for what it's worth.
I'm with you. You got an interesting situation in Minnesota, where their quarterback coach, I think, coached him in high school. J.J. McCarthy. So is that who Minnesota really wants? They hope he falls to 4, and they're prepared to gobble him up. I have to believe that Shane and Dable look at Drake May and go, that's Josh Allen. We've seen this before. Only he was better in college than Josh.
You think that's who the Giants want?
I think that's who the Giants want. I think they want Drake May. And if he's not available at 4, I think they'll stay put.
And do what?
And take wide receiver at 6. But if Drake May is the one that falls to 4, I think the Giants pounce.
We will have our draft coverage, twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. We begin at 8 o'clock on Thursday night for our draft coverage, an event unlike any other that we do because we both drink during it. We take it really seriously, but we have a little fun at the same time.
We do. We were kind of like David Samson today in his weekly appearance. He had already started in Paris. And he interrupted it to do our thing in his podcast. And, well, now he's just about done. He's going back to drinking. Bonus hour, Miller and Moulton, coming up.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So, in the summer, when we need a little filler, I think we should do a segment where I'll throw you guys a name, a first name, and you have to tell me the first person that comes to thought. Because we were talking about who's a one-name guy, you know.
Right.
I just think it'd be interesting.
All right.
Like if I said Jack, who would you initially?
And the Beanstalk. Black. Nicholson.
It's the only thing Fields has won in the last 3 years, Canada Relief. But you know, pepperoni pizza, in case anybody's wondering.
From?
Little Caesars. I do. There's no good pizza place within 15 minutes of me, so I just go for the cheap. $8. Boom. Thank you. Next.
I love Little Caesars, but
I like Little Caesars. I used to love Little Caesars crazy bread. I'm not going to lie.
So I had 5 slices for dinner yesterday, and I'm having 3 for extended breakfast today. Early brunch.
Pizza. That's the old Detroit Tigers
Pam.
home run celebration.
Yep, Pam. Yep.
Take out the spear.
Pizza, pan.
They do.
Also, the plastic thing. That's it, that you guys have referenced that before. It's like a rom-com from a long time ago.
Yeah. The Graduate.
Okay. Ooh, Motley Crue, new song.
Stop.
On Friday. Whew. It's called Dogs of War.
Oh, I thought maybe it was called Kickstart My Wheelchair.
Okay, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Last night was such a great night in the playoffs. We spent a lot of time talking about that, little football and golf in and around it. Now it's probably time that we have to start looking ahead. We got game 2, Panthers and Lightning. Let me ask you this. I mean, not just because Florida won, but Tampa Bay did not have a ton of offense in that game, Mark. I mean, they went the first 13 minutes of the game without a shot. They really didn't get any offense going until they scored the goal with 4 minutes to go in the first. The second period was kind of even. First 12, 13 minutes, 15 minutes of the third period, that Lightning had one shot on goal.
It was a dominant, for the score to be as close as it was a dominant performance by Florida in all aspects of the game, David. They controlled the forecheck. They kept Tampa hemmed in. Tampa couldn't really get any type of offensive pressure whatsoever. And the Kucherov line was non-existent for large chunks of the game.
So shots on goal were 28-19 Florida. Mark, we're not the smartest guys in the world, but we've been around hockey long enough, you obviously more than me, to know that teams not only make adjustments, but basically whatever happened in game one, anticipate almost the opposite happening in game two. I expect Tampa to put a lot of rubber on the net. I mean, you go 13 minutes without a shot on goal. You had 4 shots on goal, I think it was in the first period. You played the first 15 minutes, basically, of the third period with 1 shot on goal. I mean, don't you think Cooper looks at the guys and goes, guys, you got to shoot the damn puck?
Sure. But tell me 5-on-5 how Tampa's going to get better from game 1 to game 2. They can't hit any more than they did.
No. I mean, the Lightning with 60 hits officially. 60 hits. Panthers with 55, 56. And it's a hell of a game 1. I mean, physical playoff games have like 75 hits in them. These guys had 116. I mean, the Panthers were laughing about it looking at the stat sheet. They said, I don't know if I've ever been in a game with this much hitting. It was game 1. It gets ramped up as the series goes along.
Toronto and Boston had 85 hits last night.
And that was a physical game.
It was a really physical game. I mean, Toronto matched Boston's physicality in game 2 to get that win last night. It was an impressive performance by the Leafs. There were 30 more hits in the Tampa-Florida game.
Basically 30. A whole extra period of hitting in the Lightning-Panthers game. So that's number 1. Number 2, come on. This is the Lightning we're talking about here. We're talking about legends, Hall of Famers all over the place, from the coach to the goalie and forwards and defensemen in between. The Point Kucherov line. They got outplayed. The only reason Kucherov got on the stat sheet was the 6-on-4 goal with 9 seconds to go. They got outplayed. You think that happens again?
I actually do.
Okay. I mean, it is Barkov's line. He's amazing.
But I think it's the huge advantage in this series of home ice, that not only can they put the defensive pairing they want against that line, but they can match forwards when they want as well, David.
Tampa's got to generate more offense. Also, can the Panthers go another game, Mark? They committed 1 penalty in the first 59 minutes of the game. Their second penalty of the game was the cross-check on Verhaeghe with a minute 10 to go.
Which was a joke of a penalty based on the way that game was called.
Right. I mean, it was a cross-check. It was a penalty. But the way the previous 2+ hours went, it was like, wait, you're going to call that?
But I think if Tampa gets the whistle to blow the way it did in the Caps-Rangers game 1, David. The game they treated like it was November 12th.
Right. First 10 minutes of that game, it was like, did the refs get the memo? This is the playoffs. This is not a Tuesday night in January. What is going on?
But there were 6 combined power plays in that Ranger-Caps game. And there ended up being 5, but one of them was because of that late penalty. So I think you have to, I do think that Cooper will work the officials and get one more call than he did.
This sounds silly because they're the Lightning, but I think Tampa needs the first goal. Like, when you're a big underdog, you really need the first goal. Like, if the Caps are going to have a chance in New York tonight, they have to score first. They don't score many goals. To me, they have to be up 1-0. A 1-0 deficit for the Caps seems huge against the Rangers because the Rangers are the better team. But I think the Lightning need the first goal tonight, Mark. I do. Because in Florida, I don't know how much offense they're going to generate with the Barkov line up against the Point Kucherov line. And I'm also wondering, does Cooper have to mix and match a little more in game 2? I think both Point and Kucherov played better. Kucherov looked a little annoyed to me that they weren't calling penalties. I thought they allowed Florida to do a little stick work when Point and Kucherov tried to get into the high slot. And I think that bothered, especially Kucherov. But I think Tampa needs the first goal tonight.
For the record, you can pick up an upper level seat, a single, for $50 tonight. For what it's worth.
That's ridiculous. I hope there's only like 3 seats available. I mean, I hope
I looked right before the game in game 1. There were tickets galore available.
That's
because it's not a hockey city. I'm sorry. Tampa is. They're trying. One more round, it'll probably be sellouts.
Well, you said a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, when we were talking about teams that could up and leave, and you mentioned the Marlins and the Panthers.
Yeah. And it sucks because the Panthers are really good.
And it appears that they have good ownership too. And that this guy's smart and he's not cheap. He's hired the right people. Willing to make change. I mean, they won the President's Trophy, and he agreed that, yeah, we have to break the team up, do things differently. Oh, okay. A lot of owners wouldn't do that. So, just saying. Game 2, Lightning Panthers tonight. I'm going to stay up late. I'm going to watch Colorado Winnipeg. They scored 13 goals the last game. It was 3-3 after one. I mean, last night Vegas Dallas was 3-2 after one, and I had to talk myself into going to bed because I'm like, wow, this.
And that was with a goal disallowed, that one too.
I know. It's pretty damn entertaining.
I am now sprinting to the Hard Rock Bet app to see what the over/under is for goals in that game.
In Winnipeg, Colorado?
Yes, 6.5.
What?
That's I'm not making the lines.
I understand Winnipeg's got the best goalie in the league and all, but game 1 was 7-6.
6.5. You like it? Should we bet it?
Bet the over?
Yes.
Have you seen Colorado's goaltending in the last month? Georgiev, I mean, he's not playing well. They got issues. They just called up, by the way, just throwing this out there. They just called up their AHL goalie yesterday. That's never good, by the way, when you're calling up the guy from the A and not because of injury, you just need him to be the healthy backup.
In the playoffs.
No, you're calling him up because you're thinking seriously about he may have to play. And hell, he may have to play tonight.
And that team, everywhere else, is good enough to win every game they play.
Absolutely. Yep. So we got a little hockey tonight to go with the hoop. Heat not playing tonight. Heat get an extra day off. Maybe that gets Terry Rozier back in the lineup because obviously they need as much help as they can get. They're not going to get Butler if they're going to have any chance in this series, even to make it competitive.
Do you think they get a game?
I do. I think they get a game. Boston has not this group of Celtics have not shown that they don't get bored. They can't go a week without getting bored once. Now, my hope is that, Jason Tatum's only 26. I heard a stat the other day. Do you know how many playoff games Jason Tatum has played? 95.
It's got to be a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
95 playoff games.
His rookie year, they went to the conference finals and took LeBron to 7.
Jaylen Brown's played, I think, 106 because he was the year before Tatum. So he's played 11 more games. The two of them combined, I think they're both 26 years old. Combined, they've played 200 playoff games. I mean, this Celtics thing ain't going anywhere for the rest of the decade, man. They're both signed long-term.
Listen to NBA people that I trust still think that the Celtics A game is better than anybody else, including Denver, including anybody in the West, that if they play their A game, that they're the best team.
And I think that's been true the last 2 years even. Maybe not last year. Denver was a wagon last year. But 2 years ago, the Warriors team they lost to, I thought the Celtics were the better team. To David's point, they just got a little bored.
hell, Draymond Green all but said it, that basically we knew how to win and they didn't.
Yes. And that's what
And
it
then-
came down to.
And then also we had Steph, which really helped.
It's nice to have a Steph.
Here's the thing, though. We can count on everybody on the Nuggets. They've all done it. Just saw it last night. Can you count on Porzingis?
No.
And do you know that you're going to get, like, Jokic's going to give you a good game every game of the series. Murray's going to give you a good game even last night, horrible 3 quarters, 14 in the fourth. Are you sure you're going to get every game of the series from Brown, Tatum, and Porzingis?
Well, and I think, last night with Murray too, missing the shots and the whole team, shoot it. You listen to him
Right.
after the game. No, they kept telling me to shoot it. I didn't have it, and they just kept telling me to shoot the ball. They had faith in me.
I'll tell you what, though, you guys might laugh at this. I think that's why that Drew Holiday acquisition was so big, because he's won a
Agreed.
championship and he D's up every night.
Yes.
And he's their 4th best player, but still.
Well, they paid him. They just paid him $35 million a year in an extension, so he's happy as a clam. He's going to be on a great team for the rest of his career. He's getting paid. The East is a foregone conclusion. The East is done. Boston may lose 2 games before the finals. It's over.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. May have to go Rock Hall here, David. They made their picks. I've given up on the Rock Hall of Fame.
They made some good ones.
They did, huh?
Ozzy.
Which is the good one? Cher, Mary J. Blige, Kool in the Gang. Which one's the good one? Okay.
I love Cher. But Ozzy getting in as a solo artist now is ridiculous. He should have been in, he was in with Black Sabbath, obviously, but
This Hall of Fame has so jumped the shark.
yeah, it's been that way though.
It's a joke. I don't even know if I want to go now.
Well, also, I mean, so the list of people who haven't gotten in.
Right.
I mean, it's so damn political.
And they put Jimmy Buffett in as a, what is it? Hang on.
A legacy member or a lifetime.
Well, they've never done
achievement.
this. They're Musical Excellence Award. Never been nominated to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but now he dies and they put him in. Okay.
I mean, to your point, it would be really cool if you just went there and it was strictly rock and roll. And
It's
you
the
know,
Pop Music Hall of Fame.
class of 2040 will be Justin Bieber and
Oh,
Taylor
yeah.
Swift.
They had nowhere to go.
Canada Relief. Are you referring to Macaulay Culkin? Daniel Stern.
Brian Adams is not in. Allison Chains is not in. Greg Allman. Are the Allman brothers?
Yes.
Okay. America, should they be in? They've never been. Anthrax. Asia. I don't think so, but
No, I don't think any of those should be in.
Bachman Turner Overdrive.
BT. Oh, what is this list? Is this the nominees
Not in the hall.
that didn't get it?
Bad Company.
I think they should just stop.
The B-52s.
Ooh, they might want to get in.
I'll tell you, I went 2 years ago, and at the end, like after you go through all the exhibits and everything, there's these kiosks where you can put in.
Yeah, you can vote for who should be in.
Vote for who should be in, and then it shows you the results from that year, like the leaders in the clubhouse. And Motley Crue is number one by hundreds of votes, and they'll never get in.
The Black Crowes aren't in. I don't know if they should be, but
Springsteen's in, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Blue Oyster Cult.
No.
Okay. Boston.
Yes.
Joe Cocker. Should Phil Collins be in as a solo artist? He's in with Genesis.
Much as I hate to say it, there's maybe.
Take me home.
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young are in individually and elsewhere, but they're not in together, if you know what I mean.
All right, here we go.
The Cult.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. And for those in Jacksonville that are tuning in for the first time, there's a few things that you need to learn about Miller and Moulton. First off, I'm David Moulton.
That would make me Mark Miller.
And secondly, we both have our Hall of Fame hangups. I have a Hall of Fame hang-up with every single Hall of Fame, with the exception of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mark, what's your hang-up?
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, David.
There you go. That's how we roll.
I'm getting to the point where I think we should just close the doors. Be done with it.
And for the record, you've never been?
I've never been.
David, have you been?
I have, but here's what I think is happening, Trent. It is a place where Mark has always wanted to go. But every year he gets more and more annoyed with who keeps getting in and who keeps being left out. that now I think we may have to prod him to go.
Because we just announced the new class of the Hall of Fame.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Apparently, they did so on American Idol, which should say everything you need to know about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and where it's at right now.
Well, don't you think that they're just doing that for marketing? They're trying to appeal to younger people. I mean, there is no more rock and roll anymore.
No,
so,
there really isn't, David, and that's sad. But Mary J. Blige, Cher, Dave Matthews Band, Foreigner, Peter Frampton, Kool and the Gang, Ozzy Osbourne, and A Tribe Called Quest are all being inducted under the performer category.
So this is Cher by herself, not with her ex-husband.
Right.
Okay. Well, no, I asked because I think she was a bigger deal with Sonny and Cher. I mean, a lot of her celebrity as Cher came as an actress. I mean, she had some hits, but
she won an Oscar.
Right. She slapped Nicolas Cage in the face. Snap out of it.
That was her Oscar. Moonstruck.
Well aware of that. Thank you.
The Hall is also honoring Jimmy Buffett, MC5, Dionne Warwick, and Norman Whitfield with the Musical Excellence Award.
How much did Dionne Warwick's Capital One March Madness commercial help her Hall of Fame stock?
I don't know, but how is Jimmy Buffett not in the Hall of Fame and then he dies and we put him in? With all the artists that they've put in the Rock Hall that aren't rock artists, we're really neglecting Jimmy Buffett and he dies and then you put him in?
Yeah, I'm with Skip Carey, who said a long time ago, if you're not putting Harry in while he's alive, doesn't mean anything to us.
But, and I'm not just like a rock guy. I like hip hop. A Tribe Called Quest is an amazing musical ensemble. It's great. Love it. It's not rock and roll. I mean,
Right.
this is turned into the Music Hall of Fame. They should rename this building.
I totally agree with you because we have argued that there's only one other Music Hall of Fame, right? It's the country. Is it the country and Western or just the country
I think it's the Country Music Hall of Fame, I think.
Right. So there's only one other genre that's represented with a Hall of Fame. So I think this Hall of Fame feels obligated to represent all the other genres. But you're right. I mean, most of these artists, a lot of them, they're not playing rock and roll. Obviously, they're playing great music, but it's not rock and roll. And it has driven you crazy when they put a pop artist.
Yes.
Yes.
It has.
But
But I really believe that it's not rock and roll. Name it the Music Hall of Fame. Take rock and roll right out of it.
Right. I mean, that would immediately fix the problem, right? Because then what you're doing is you're putting in all the which is fine. At that point, it would be fine. But you have a problem with the label of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because putting in artists like Cher and Dionne Warwick doesn't sit right.
I do.
That's understandable.
I mean, Kool and the Gang is more rock and roll than Cher.
True.
And it's not close. But as long as you believe in the power of love, everything will be good.
Also, I gotta say, like, why now? That's the other thing that I don't understand. What changed since 1987 when you could have put Cher in back then? Why? Like, what?
By their qualifications, I don't know if, because don't you have to do 25 years before you're qualified?
Cher's 77. I think she's been qualified for a while. They've run out of people to put in, David. They literally have run out.
Actually, in 87, she wasn't qualified, okay? Because if you go back 25 years before that, that's 62, okay? She was a teenager. I don't think...
She's 77. She's
Okay.
77 years old. She's
get it.
been qualified for a while.
No, she has. I'm just saying I don't think she was qualified in 87. She was probably qualified, I don't know, in the early 90s.
But her biggest hit was Believe, and I think that was in like 2000. So what took 24 more years for them to finally go, okay?
Well, because this one is, listen, this is the worst Hall of Fame. This is worse than putting Chauncey Billups in the Hall of Fame. Okay, this is. No, this is. Some of the artists that they put in, never mind the artists they leave out. I mean, you think we get bent out of shape about the, for the longest time, it was Burt Blyleven and Jack Morris, still no Dale Murphy. All right. This Hall of Fame is the most political.
It's a joke.
If one guy doesn't like you, you're out. I mean, basically, like Schilling not being in the Baseball Hall of Fame, okay? The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's got seemingly 20 Schillings that they haven't put in because they just don't like them.
Well, like I said, Ozzy Osbourne just now getting in as a solo artist. I understand how iconic Black Sabbath is. They should be in, and they've been in. But it took you this long to recognize Ozzy Osbourne? Ridiculous.
By the way, Sammy Hagar in with Van Halen, not in as a solo artist.
That's another perfect example. Is Montrose in?
No, and they shouldn't be.
Okay, I was wondering, just because you don't know.
And it's a pet peeve of mine, to say the very least.
Don Henley not in as a solo artist. In with the Eagles, not in as a solo artist. Now, some people don't like putting people in more than once. Like Jerry West is going in for the third time into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Eric Clapton's in the Rock Hall 4 different times,
I
I
was
think.
just going to say, Clapton is the Jerry West of the Rock.
So he's in as a solo artist. He's in with Derek and the Dominoes. He's in with the Yardbirds.
Cream.
And he's in with Cream. Yeah. Thank you.
Legend.
But we can put Cher in, but we can't put Iron Maiden in.
Right.
We can put Mary J. Blige in, but In Excess is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
He's rolling, ladies and gentlemen.
No. I'm just.
I keep going. I love this. I'm barring Windelstad from umpiring Yankees games for the rest of the year. I had my gripe earlier in the show. This all Jay Giles band, by the way, Hall of Famers, yes or no? They're not in, but do you think they're Hall of Famers? Been nominated 5 times.
To me, they'd walk right up to the door, but not get in.
Okay, it's fair enough. The Guess You, Golden Earring, all not in.
No Sugar Tonight.
I would almost stick up for Trent's favorite band, Motley Crue, before I'd stick up for some of the ones you're mentioning.
Motley Crue's blacklisted, though. They'll just never get in because of all the horrible
Well,
things.
but Kiss was blacklisted and they got in. Cher said I could pay $1 million and I wouldn't get in, and she got in. So apparently all you have to do is belittle them for a little while and they'll put you in.
Well, we don't have enough time to go down this rabbit hole, but Kiss got in, and then they only put in the original 4 who were together for 7 years. They had a 40-plus year career with other members. None of those guys got in. It just doesn't make any sense.
I'm fine with that. Kiss is the original 4 members, and stop it, okay? It's Ace Frehley, it's Peter Criss, it's Gene Simmons, and it's Paul Stanley. And then we just leave it at that.
Exactly. Their career ended during the Reagan administration. It's over. Give it up. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Coming up.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GI certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation, and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from 1/2 carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Foghat, Grand Funk Railroad, the Guess Who.
Grandma chimes in. She always watches the bonus hour. She says, rock and roll is an era to me, not a specific artist. Late 50s and 60s is rock and roll to Grandma, for what it's worth.
Iron Butterfly, Iron Maiden.
Never heard of
Jane's
Iron Butterfly.
Jethro Tull, Jane's Addiction. Kansas.
Kansas is good.
Lenny Kravitz.
I love Lenny Kravitz.
Well, of course you do, because, you know, you go around the world just smoking large amounts of dope.
All right.
Not.
Never have.
Okay. Cyndi Lauper.
No.
No.
Oh.
Annie Lennox. Annie Lennox.
No, because
She's already in with the Eurythmics, I think, isn't she?
Yes, she is 2 years ago.
That doesn't.
Huey Lewis and the News.
That one, he absolutely should be in. Come on. There was like a 3-year stretch. Was anyone putting out better music than Huey Lewis for like 3 years?
Yes, a lot of people were.
Better music? Yes. I mean, because his hits were like
that
83 to 85.
Sports was a big album. It did really well.
I was raised on sports. My dad would play that all the time.
Marshall Tucker Band.
Not a chance.
Meatloaf.
That's an interesting.
David would say yes, right?
Oh, no. Ask Mark. When Meatloaf died, I took it hard. It bothered me. It didn't bother me as much as when Eddie Van Halen died. But, I mean, Mark looked at me in the studio and was like, "Is this really bothering you?" I go, "Yeah, this one got me." Molly Hatchet.
Yeah, that's a no.
The Monkees.
That's a definite no.
Motley Crue.
That's a yes.
Motorhead.
That's a for sure yes.
Nazareth. Oh, here we go. I'm doing this I don't believe they belong.
Crash out right now.
Night Ranger.
What's going on?
No.
Oh, when you close your eyes, do you dream about me? Is Dockin in?
No. Are you serious? You're fired again.
It has not been a good day for me.
Holy blank.
So Boston and Kansas are not in, but they put Foreigner in?
Foreigner sucks too.
Is
there a
REO
point-
in then?
No.
Bon Jovi's in, right?
Yes.
Is Rainbow in?
No.
Rainbow? Are you out of your mind? This is the Hall of Fame. Fame. I mean, even Chauncey Billups doesn't think Rainbow should be in.
Someone said Dio in the Twitch chat room, and I just thought of Rainbow. Here's the real question. If there was a hip hop Hall of Fame, would it be on the East Coast?
There is
or
a
the
hip hop
West?
Hall of Fame. As a matter of fact, there is a hip hop Hall of Fame.
Okay. Where is it?
That's a great question.
Jethro Tull is not in.
Do we really need a flute playing group in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, that could be what, get you kicked out. Ted Nugent.
No.
Oasis. The
That's-
Outlaws.
The Oasis is probably one that will get in.
Is Foo Fighters in?
Yes. I think.
Robert Plant is not in as a solo artist.
And I don't think he should be.
Probably right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour, 16 until we're done. Miller and Moulton. Good show lined up for you tomorrow. We'll talk with someone from Pro Football Network. At least that's the plan, previewing the draft. Seth Everett fired up this week. Seth texted us yesterday saying, listen, when I come on Wednesday, here's what I want to talk about.
I almost answered that with, okay, Seth, you always get to talk about what you want. It's kind of the point of the interview.
So we got Seth and JP Shadrick, Jags Radio Network, play-by-play, Westwood One, PJ Tour. He'll join us coming up tomorrow as well. So not a bad little show, if we do say so ourselves. By the way, the Hall of Fame debate continues during the commercial breaks. It's another reason to check us out on Twitch. We just spent that whole commercial break going through bands in alphabetical order with Mark going, no, 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 hell no, you're fired, no.
I did fire Trent during the commercial break.
I've been fired twice today.
That's pretty good. What's your record for getting fired by Danielson in a game?
Well, in a game, I've only been fired once. I've been fired 3 times in a season before. Okay, usually it's once a year. 1 year, he fired me 3 times. Do you know him firing me? He fired me during the off season, and it actually helped me get my job with Aikman. We're doing very quickly. We're doing the U.S. Senior Open 2018 in Colorado, and commercial free. And I'm standing next to Buck on his left, and I start laughing hysterically. I can't contain it. And we're at a tight part of the golf tournament too. Coming down the stretch, Tom's is clinging to a 1-shot lead, and I'm laughing hysterically. And he looks at me like, dude, what the hell's going on? And I go, Danielson just fired me. And he looks at me and I go, he fires me all the time. Don't worry about it. And then he goes, what do you do for him again? At which point I fired Joe. I said, you're fired. For good, dude, what do you pay attention? What do I do for him? And he goes, you should do that for Troy. I just looked right at him. I said, that's not a bad idea, Joe. And sure enough, after the tournament, he called up Troy. Actually, he didn't call up Troy. He called up the executive producer. Never told Troy he was bringing me onto the crew. Yeah.
And Troy was really happy about it in the early parts.
Right. I showed up week 1. Troy looked at me and like, who the hell's this guy? Oh, I'm working with you. Right. Okay. But anyway, so Danielson firing me in a way led to me working with Aikman.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Not going to lie, all this Hall of Fame talk has blown this segment completely out of the water. I don't know if I'm even prepared for the segment, but we've got a couple of things. We start in 1516 today, David, when the German beer purity law was passed, saying that beer could only contain 3 things: water, malt, and hops.
I don't know. That's held up pretty well.
500 years ago, they got it right, David.
Yeah, and what people have tried to do with it, that's their problem.
Exactly. Today in 1954, Hank Aaron hits his first home run.
Hold on a second. Did you just fast forward 440 years?
Yes, I did.
Wow. You sure nothing took place in between there?
I'm sure a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I'll skip nearly 30 more years to 1985. New Coke debuted today in 1985.
Oh, my goodness. New Coke. Oh, just.
You have no idea, Trent. Coke changed their formula. Coca-Cola, the gold standard of soda pop. And don't even start on me with Pepsi. The
Right.
gold standard of
No,
soda pop.
But Pepsi was making headway. It was closing, and then they were losing market share, and they determined that their soda was a little too crisp and bitter. Pepsi was sweet. The younger people liked it, so they came out with new Coke, and it didn't taste anything like Coke. It was sweet. It was bad.
And that's the current.
No.
They went
It
back
was
to
so
it?
bad that they dumped it and went back to the original recipe. And it's one of the all-time biggest marketing flops that's ever happened.
That turned into a boon. Okay, the two biggest, it's amazing that Tylenol is still around today, because early in its existence, there was that scandal in which somebody was injecting Tylenol with cyanide. Well, you figured that would be, literally a death knell for a product when people are taking it and dying. Okay, and they improved their packaging so that you'd know if somebody harmed it, and Tylenol sales, flourished. And everyone else in the industry had to now package their product like Tylenol. Tylenol, new Coke, turning disaster into gold.
Speaking of your guy, Mr. Aikman, there's today in 1989 that Troy Aikman was the first pick of the NFL draft.
Should have been the Packers, but they won their final game of the year under Lindy Infante. Cost themselves the first pick of the draft. It didn't cost them that much, though. They settled for Tony Mandarich.
Alex Smith was the first pick of the 05 draft today. And what is it we say every team could use? The Joe Burrow. It was today in 2020 that Joe Burrow was the first overall pick.
I need a moment. Just to
From
collect
his
myself.
living room on his couch with his parents because of COVID.
The original Bill, born today. Shakespeare. Our 15th president, James Buchanan. Warren Spahn. Shirley Temple and Roy Orbison all would have celebrated birthdays today. Valerie Bertinelli is 64. John Cena and John Oliver are each 47. What did I miss, David?
Shakespeare would have been 460 years old today. And do you think he'd look much worse today than he did back in the day?
I don't know, but he probably would have gotten to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Hank Aaron hit his first home run today.
Yeah, in
70 years ago.
1954.
You had that?
Yeah, right after
All
the
right.
German beer thing, when you said, did you skip 400 years?
Well, you did skip a lot. I thought you'd skip that. He hit 755 of them,
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Finance Buzz announced that it is celebrating the upcoming Star Wars Day, May the 4th, by paying someone $1,000 to watch all 9 of the Skywalker Saga films. The kicker is you could have never have seen one before. They're looking for someone who is brand new to the franchise. As they say, a first-timer to the Force, a true young Jedi. And you can make $1,000 for watching them. I'm out. I've seen the first 3. I think I saw the couple of the next 2 with my son. He was in for a while.
I was going to say, there was that weird generation where it was like you guys grew up with them and then you had kids and then they dropped 3 more. And then, Disney came in.
Yeah.
For the bad, we go to Warwick Township, Pennsylvania.
Hello.
Where a gentleman didn't like his service and threw a glass at restaurant workers and then left without paying the bill. He left in his white 4-door BMW, and they're hoping they can track down this man because he obviously has anger issues and problems not paying your bill. Throw the glass, pay the bill, dude.
Let me tell you something. If I worked at a restaurant and somebody I waited on didn't pay the bill, I swear I would track them down myself.
So, true story. I was waiting tables in Atlanta, and I had a dentist take out his whole staff. And they run you around ragged, filling up iced teas and whatever. And he decides he's not going to tip me.
What?
I didn't think I did a bad job. I thought I was actually a pretty decent waiter. But he didn't like something. I walked out of the restaurant, followed him, in front of his whole staff. Excuse me, sir. Did you forget something? And he looked at me and said, well, you didn't leave a tip. It was 12 people there. It was a $100 lunch bill. Should have been a $20 tip. And he goes, well, you didn't fill my iced tea. And I went, well, you're an a-hole.
Well, here you go. And that's why, sir.
He called the restaurant, tried to get me fired. I kept my job, believe it or not.
And you said, oh, they've been trying to fire me, but can't get good help nowadays.
Well, the manager's looking at me, don't do that. Just come up to me. I'll give you a coupon. You can attach a coupon. We'll get you the tip. Don't chase people out of here anymore. Fair enough. Probably shouldn't have, but it felt good. For the bad, we go to Quebec, where a family in Quebec is searching for answers after discovering their father's remains didn't make it from Canada from Cuba while he died on vacation. Instead, they sent another man.
How do they know? No, seriously. Because you said remain. No, hold on. You said remains, so I'm assuming they cremated them.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's easy to tell. My bad. I thought we'd already done the process. I'm like, well, how do you know?
David's like, dead is dead.
I was going to say, you're in an urn. That's not my dad. Really? And you can tell why? I mean, it's tough to tell the big nose in an urn.
He's a bit ashy.
Exactly. Well, but near the end, they all get ashy.
That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, April the 23rd, 2024.
Yeah, you can't send the wrong guy.
No, that's a problem.
That is a problem. We're going to have to keep it closed. Why?
It's not Dad.
I'll tell you later. Blame it on the funeral home. They just didn't. Man, look at the job they did on Tommy. Doesn't look anything like Tommy.
He's never.
I'm not paying for this.
Oh boy.
A couple of guys who have lost their father. They could joke about this. Trent's going, yeah, I'm not going to take notes on this segment.
I think that's a good idea. 4 games in the NHL tonight.
There you go. Nice transition there, big fella.
Rangers and Capitals get things going at 7, but Lightning and Panthers at 7:30. Panthers trying to extend their 1-0 lead. Tampa trying to equal the series. Colorado and Winnipeg, Nashville and Vancouver are the 2 late games in the NHL.
So the Caps, Rangers, Colorado, Winnipeg are the ESPN games. Lightning, Panthers, Preds, Canucks pushed to the deuce. The ESPN games start first. They're 7 and 9:30. The deuce games are 7:30 and 10. So, and by the way, the playoff games they're starting very late, and they're not fitting in their window at all. And I don't know why. Because it's not like they're calling a bunch of penalties in these games.
They're not dropping the puck when they're supposed to.
At all.
It's that simple. I mean, they ended up getting close to the start of the Dallas game last night, but that was a 9:50 drop of the puck for a 9:30 game. That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the hockey's running a touch long here for what it's worth. So NBA, no Heat tonight. They got one more day to lick their wounds. Phoenix, Minnesota, front end of the TNT double dip. Dallas, the Clippers, the back end. Dallas favored. Dallas got whooped in the first game. They're anticipating no Kawhi. Mavs are a 2.5-point favorite. By the way, Colin Cowherd came out yesterday and said Kevin Durant is becoming irrelevant. And he rattled off and he just said, listen, it's not that Kevin Durant's still not a terrific player. He goes, but they're in Phoenix. They're not winning. He's in his mid-30s and he's not going to get better. If they can't win this year, are they going to get any better? They have no roster flexibility. And he's basically like, is Kevin Durant going to play out the rest of his career and, be basically irrelevant?
I think this is a whole separate conversation, but I really think with the Olympics happening this summer, we're going to see the league shake up quite a bit. You hear about like how the Miami Heat, that was the big
totally
conspired at an Olympics.
I totally agree with you. I think all these guys are going to get together and they're going to decide what teams they want to go to.
I mean, seriously, LeBron, KD, don't call me crazy, Steph.
Also, Embiid playing for Team USA, which is a whole other story.
Yes. It's just something to watch.
What was it? The French player doesn't want Embiid allowed in the country for not playing for
yeah.
France.
Right.
The guy that got dunked on by Vince.
Right.
Right. Frederick Weiss.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the
Shouldn't
thing.
let him in the country.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so Panthers Lightning. Who do you guys like?
Lightning. I have the series going 7.
I like the Panthers.
If you like the Lightning, plus 185 boost on the Hard Rock Bet app on the money line.
Oh, there's a boost.
Plus
Wow.
185. That's good. That's good value, David, if you like the Lightning.
Sprinkle that, baby. Marlins in Atlanta again. They're 6-18. They're likely to lose. Rays hosting the Tigers again. Rays are 500, and they got half the team on the IL. And Arozarena's hitting like $104. They got issues. They really do. If anybody's paying attention. Had a big crowd of 13,000 last night. Miller and Moulton. We'll do it tomorrow because we have to.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, hop into a few Joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.